So what's going on, everybody? John on here with you. I'm good on the YouTube side of things. Probably about another 10 minutes away from the start of the Stars and the Flames Game 7. Again, I was just here with you earlier a few hours ago. Put the game store and everything else on the YouTube side of things. HopefulSportsGuide.wordpress.com. All that stuff is set up there as well. I'll put that in the chat.
What's up, John? What's your guys? Barry Melrose, Chris Chelios, Game 7 in New York. Jake Gensel kicks it up in the air with his skate. As we look at the see who's over the crossbar, they say that's close enough. Amazing goal by Gensel. That gave the Penguins the lead in Game 7. Severely out shooting the Rangers. And then Keandre Miller off the skate of Mike Matheson, hit by Tristan Jarry, who is in net for the Penguins. Then Evan Rodriguez has a breakaway here, chips it up, skates it down, and then the backhander in. The Penguins have the lead 5:51 for the Penguins winning the series, but Mika Zibanejad settles it down and puts it over the left deltoid. Just over 4 minutes left. 3-3 with Kiki puts it on there. What's up? Game 7 in Calgary. What's the most important thing in the game 7?
Goaltenders. These teams are great goaltenders and come to the playoff, arguably, so I really think it's up to the goaltenders. You got to expect to be low scoring and close, right?
This is the highest scoring opening round in 27 years. The first round will conclude with 51 games played. 51 games in this first round. That's tied for second highest total ever. Give us the winner, Bob Verschusen.
Lucy, we will do our best to do just that, just about set to drop a puck. Here in Calgary, Bob Verschusen, Brian Boucher upstairs with a tough. Love to see it right outside
Okay.
and inside.
Let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get this call here. It's going to be, we're going to probably get the national anthem and all that stuff unless ESPN can cover that. So it's going to be Robe Hintz, Michael Raffle. We're going to get set here for the most part as the call. Let's get the starting lineups here. Robe Hintz, Michael Raffle, Joe Pavelski, Ryan Suter, and Miro Heiskanen. It's Jamie Benn, Jason Robertson, Tyler Sagan, Joel Hanley, and John Klingberg. Radek Faksa, Joel Caravana, Luke Glendening, and then Vladimir Mestikov, Jacob Peterson, Marion Studenic with Essa Lindell, and Yanni Hakanpää with Jake Ottinger in net. For the Calgary Flames, it sounds like this: Elias Lindholm, Johnny Gaudreau, Matthew Tkachuk, Noah Hannafin, and Rasmus Anderson, Michael Backlund, Andrew Mangiapane, Tyler Toffoli with Oliver Shillington and Christopher Tanev. Cal Yarncroc, Dylan Dubé, Blake Coleman, Nikita Zadorov, and Eric Gabranson. The fourth line forwards will be Trevor Lewis, Milan Lucic, and Michael Stone. So when I'm looking on the side of it right now, it has undisclosed body injury for Christopher Tanev. So you're probably going to move Mark Stone in there as well. And then on the other side for the Dallas Stars, I saw one of those as well. And Luke Glendening has a lower body as well, so that's probably going to get moved in favor of Dennis Gurianov or anything else in there as well. So I'll add you in here, Dan, if you want to get in on this now. And I can handle the play-by-play if you want to do some of the color stuff when we get in here. That'll be all good for me. It doesn't matter however you want to do it. But I appreciate you jumping in on this. And if you want to do the whole game with me, you can. I'm going to be doing the game story and everything else after that. But I'm pretty excited for this Game 7.
Oh, yes. I haven't really get a chance to watch these teams, both these teams up close. But just coming off the Predators getting swept.
Yeah,
by it wasn't Calgary, but it was by
Colorado.
Colorado, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be a sweep personally, but yeah, they put the whooping stick on.
There's one thing that you really notice in this postseason between some of these teams, and again, in comparison to this game today, I think you kind of look at Dallas and Calgary. Like I talked about in some of the openings, some of the stuff I did on here, but it was a plus 88 goal differential for Calgary. Dallas was a -9, and yet we're sitting in a Game 7 right now in between these two teams. So it goes to show, like you were talking about, maybe you don't expect to have, the unexpected happen, but we've had that so far in this series. So it's literally been too close to call. And in comparison to a lot of the NBA playoff games we did, again, we did an earlier Game 7 with the Celtics and the Bucks. That was a little bit of a butt kicking, and the Dallas Mavericks and Phoenix Suns I see is a little bit of a butt kicking as well. So
you know what? I didn't expect that at all. I mean, especially with Phoenix being at home. Man, I mean, when the game first started off, Luka was on fire, and excuse me, it just appears that he hasn't stopped Brunson. He's getting help from Brunson and other players on the team.
yes,
See, that's the thing. See, when you have help from your surrounding players, instead of just relying on one guy, Chris Paul or even Booker for your offense, that tells the difference in the game. I mean, yes, Luka was the scorer, but the main scorer, but he was, but he had help, and that's the reason why they were up 30 at halftime. There was an interesting stat that they showed at halftime during the game that Luka had 27 points, and the Phoenix Suns as a team had 27.
Yeah, it was one of those.
Yeah.
Yes, as you said, between Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton combining for like a 3 for something, and Luka Doncic pretty much has the same amount of points as the Suns. I would say one thing, and this opened my eyes, and they showed this a little bit as we're kind of transitioning from the national anthem here for this game, but Jason Kidd, they showed him on an audio assist saying all the kind of defensive shout outs, and I seen the Mavericks lock in like that. And I was never really concerned about the offense for the Dallas Mavericks. Again, they're one of those teams that live and die by the three. But the way they locked on defense in this game, and I'll check some of this stuff during the commercials and all that, but that made me buy in a little bit more with the Dallas Mavericks when you're playing defense like that.
Yeah, it's now they're showing. I don't know if you're watching the game now right now, but they're showing the Canadian flag being draped all across the stands here.
Yeah,
and, I tell you this, and I'm an American myself, just like you are. Canadians are very passionate about their hockey.
Yes, they are.
I'll tell you that right now. And this is coming from America again. I like their anthem better than I like our own. I just do. It just has that anthem feeling to it. We say, oh, Canada.
Well, I mean, now, from what you're saying, though, too, from now, it's one of those things where Toronto was just eliminated yesterday. Yes, Edmonton advanced. It's going to fall on Calgary right now at home to try to turn things around. So we're getting underway here as the Dallas Stars, they win the face-off, and it goes all the way down the other end of the ice for Calgary as they try to spin this one around. Michael Raffle is going to hold this off the backhand side. Keep it alive here. It gets crunched a little bit by Michael Backlund. He got absolutely upended on the other side as Raffle and everyone else come together. So we might get an immediate penalty. We do get an immediate stoppage with 19:38 left to go in the first. What a crunch that was.
Oh, yeah, now I just saw it. Wow.
So again, if I'm a little bit ahead of you or whatever, that's all right. Again, that was usually how it was the case before when I do this. But if you want to chime in whenever you see something when the play is done, I'll let you have the floor here for a little bit. But you can stick around for as long as you want, and it is whatever you want to do here. That was a big crunch there by Michael Backlund. So
Yeah, but see, the thing is, you want to play tough, but you don't want to get a lot of penalties early in the game because your players are going to be out, and that messes up your rhythm.
yes.
And you don't want to give the other team cheap goals, especially in Game 7. So
Tyler Seguin to Jamie Benn immediately scores right off of the draw. They go right in off of an immediate entry, and this could not be a worse start here for Calgary at home. It was a nice, simple chip in there. It was Seguin right in the slot to Ben. No chance for Jacob Markstrom, and it's 1-0 Dallas early. My goodness, off the first shot of the game.
Yeah, as I was stating earlier, you have to be careful of those cheap penalties like that starting out because one of your players are out and you have an extra man on the ice, and this is what happens when you sometimes let your emotions get the best of you, and it ends up backfiring on you. So you got to be careful of this.
So Noah Hannafin now wants to get this one out of the zone, but Dallas immediately intercepts. It's picked up by Johnny Gaudreau, and they're desperately trying to get this out of their own defensive spot now. Keith Tkachuk, nice move there from Matthew Tkachuk there, and it gets knocked away. Picked back up by Calgary and Elias Lindholm. In the slot, backhand there for Gaudreau, and it goes just to the left of Jake Ottinger, and here comes Dallas now. 3-on-1, nice cutoff there, and Calgary can reset this thing here with Elias Lindholm and Oliver Shillington, and Shillington's got it now. Picked back up into the neutral zone and dumped in. Ottinger has to stick this one aside. Dallas with Joe Pavelski now. Again, Jimmy Benn just scored off the first shot of the game, so we'll see what happens with Calgary. Big time miscommunication there behind the net for Jacob Markstrom allows Jason Robertson to get on this thing and spin off and try to get in position. Left at the blue line there for Miro Heiskanen. He gets cut off there by the Flames and Oliver Shillington. Shillington trying to spin this thing around, and it's picked up toward the right faceoff dot and dumped across the red line. Heiskanen, series of moves, gets him across the red line. Nice skate. He's going to elect to wrist this one right on, but it goes wide off the blocker side and around the net of Markstrom now. Tyler Toffoli cut off there by Jason Robertson. Jason Robertson got a goal a couple of games ago here for the 23-year-old trying to get back on track, but his team was up 1-0. Noah Hannafin and an offside entry there. As Gaudreau entered a little too early. 17:39 left to go in the first period. Dallas is up 1-0. So this was a big-time goal here for the Dallas Stars. This was very early again, just chip in right from Seguin right to Ben in the slot. No chance there for Markstrom to be able to do anything with it. And this is not the start that Calgary wanted, but necessarily if you're going to get a bad start out of the way, do it early and regroup. That's kind of what Calgary needs to be looking for right now, as they're really just underway here at the Settle Dome. So face-off is won by the Dallas Stars. Put down the ice by Klingberg. Studenic tries to get to it, but he gets cut off. Big hit toward the left side of the boards as Michael Stone is trying to battle. Holding off there nicely, one of the Dallas Stars. Stone trying to emerge with this thing. He's keeping it blanketed out in front. It goes loose in the blue paint to Markstrom, but he was able to fight that one off. Shillington now across the red line, and Calgary is going to be content to change. That was a nice hit on the other side, held off there by Stone. Dallas now in behind their own cage of Jake Ottinger. The 23-year-old has been marvelous in this series. Picked back up by Markstrom as he goes behind the cage to move this thing around. Dallas still keeping Calgary hemmed in their own defensive zone for the moment. And now it's passed down the ice. Nikita Zadorov gets this one down. Michael Backlund now. Nice chip and chase. Majapati, and then Calgary just went a tad offside there with Erica Branson. So we're going to get a neutral zone draw with 16:40 left. So right now, as I'm looking at it, and we talked about it from the very beginning of the opening, Dallas was the only playoff team that went out of all 16 to have under 20 road wins, and they already have a 1-0 lead here at the Saddle Dome. This was a series that hasn't had a lot of goals in between them on both sides. As comparison, you look at the other 7 series where it's been goals aplenty. So the first goal that was scored was really the winner for a lot of these cases here, but you have a long way to go to make that stand up. Markstrom now behind the cage. We'll play this one to Kachuk. Kachuk, nice bounce ahead. Johnny Gaudreau. What a move there for Johnny Gaudreau. Spins and keeps it alive. It's in the slot there for Kachuk. He finds it, and the net might have went off its moorings as Jake Ottinger found a stop. He almost toe dragged through 3 different players, did Johnny Gaudreau. He turned on the Jets there, but the shot was just denied. So 16:09 left to go in the first period. Johnny's going to go ahead back to the bench here. He's got a 4-game point streak here with a goal and 4 assists. The Jets are on right now for the Calgary Flames as far as trying to make some chances. So there has been a little bit of a bounce back since giving up that goal. Kelly Arncroft gets knocked down on the draw, gets to pick it back up in the slot. It goes just to the left of Ottinger. To Foley, trying to get around this thing as well. He throws it across the blue paint. It's picked up by the Flames, picked up by Yarncroft as he leaves it around the net of Ottinger, spins it around the faceoff dot. Hannafin's bid goes wide, and Dallas now can chip and chase this one down the ice where it's at the Flaming Sea. Picked up by Hannafin there momentarily, and now Gabranson. Gabranson trying to play this around with Rasmus Anderson and Noah Hannafin, and now this goes down to Michael Stone, but the pass a little too hard. Picked up here by Dallas. Left off a nice drop pass there from Suter to Heiskanen, and the shot goes wide of Markstrom. Calgary trying to break out of this thing. They momentarily get a piece of it with Nick Ritchie trying to stay on side now. Is Milan Lucic. Lucic thought about the slap shot. Instead, lets it go back behind the net. It's picked around the blue line. Slap shot Stone gets blocked inadvertently by Dallas. Picked back up toward the left wing side, and now spun around for Oliver Shillington. Shillington takes a wrist shot. It gets bounced out in front, and then put through the blue paint of Dallas. So Calgary trying to buzz here a little bit as Ottinger comes out of the goal crease, but it goes a little too far for him. Big hit on the other side by Lucic. Knocks down one of the Dallas players. Dallas trying to get this out of their own zone right now, and they finally do. As Nikita Zadorov was able to leaves from the boom. Blake Coleman's bid gets held there by Ottinger toward the right side, and now Coleman's having a little meeting in front of the edge. Yeah, that was a nice hit. There's been some really good physicality in this series right now that we've seen between these two teams. Again, there's not been a lot of goals, but there's been so much physicality throughout these two teams that it's something to behold. This is probably more of a throwback series than we've had of the other 7 when there's been a ton of goals. So we'll see who takes this game 7 today, but it's been an auspicious start for Dallas, and they've had the 1-0 lead. So Tyler Seguin trying to get the face-off against Backlund. He does, and Ben will get this one around the ice. Ben now spins this one down, and Nikita Zadorov can get the race as he gets back behind his own net. He's using that big 6'6" body to shield off the puck there, and he did so nicely. Calgary, Majapani trying to hold this one. Nice outlet pass for Backlund, but he couldn't get the wrist shot off in time. Backlund now spins around. He's on the left face-off dot, trying to play this one across the blue line. Gabranson going to let this one go. Majapani trying to bounce it out of the air. Picked back up by Gabranson one more time. He's going to let it go through the screen, and it goes just wide as Majapani took a spill. Jamie Benn now to Ty Dellandrea. So Rick Bowness is going to move some of those lines. Dellandrea gets his shot fought off there by Markstrom. And now The Flames with Eric Branson can get this one back into the neutral zone. Trying to look for a clean entry. Instead, they go to dump and chase. Elias Lindholm tries to play this one out in front. It falls right to the Flames, but the slap shot goes way off the window. Picked up there by Anderson. Now on the other side, Kachuk. Hannafin with the blast to the screen, stopped by Ottinger. Picked up by Kachuk one more time. Hannafin lets it go wide once more. And Dallas gets to this thing behind their own net. They've been hemmed in ever since Calgary has given up that first goal. They've had the better of the chances, 8-2 on the shot board, but they're down 1-0. Robertson has a bounce off of Yarncroc, tries to play that one, and it got nicely blocked off there by Dallas. There's another big hit toward the red line. Calgary's laying some of the pain right now, but they need to get a goal on the board. Oliver Shillington, what a skate through, holding off the backhand. He kept it alive, but he just went a little offsides. As we get a good shot of the fans on the other side on ESPN, and we're going to be getting a break here from 12:46. So I know I have the audio recorder on the other side, so that's why I'm not recording the broadcast. So I usually just take that and record it myself. We're in a break right now. So it looks like Pittsburgh and New York are going to overtime, tied at 3.
I just looked at the game before I switched it to this one, and they are neck and neck. It's like a very fierce contest there, and so we'll see what's going to happen in that series there.
Is there any teams? I know, Darren, that you were looking at outside of your own that you thought were a little bit dangerous as far as the Stanley Cup playoffs?
I think probably New York and one of the teams, Dallas, that we're looking at now.
Yeah,
it's pretty dangerous out here. And of course, you got Colorado's a factor too. They were, of course, sweating the Predators, but those are 3 teams that I saw were the biggest threats.
We're just getting back into the action here. I wanted to make the point of what you were talking about. Chris Kreider, Keandre Miller, and Mika Zibanejad in the third period for the Rangers. It was Jake Etzel, Danton Heinen, and Evan Rodriguez. That's why we're tied at 3 for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So now we're officially getting back into the action here. 12:46 left to go in the first period. Jamie Benn had made it 1-0 early in favor of Dallas, but ever since then, Calgary has had a 10-2 advantage on the shot board. This goes down the ice. Oliver Shillington, they're going to have a hybrid icing. He's going to win the race. It's going to be an offensive zone draw here for Calgary. So we're going to keep you abreast of the situation that's going on between Pittsburgh and the New York Rangers. It won't be for about another 10 minutes or so, as they're just hitting the intermission for overtime number 1. Again, it's sudden death, so we're going to go until we get a goal scored on that side of things. So this is an offensive zone draw that's going to get set here for the Calgary Flames. 12:34 left to go in the first period. John on here with you with Darren. I'm glad you could join us here for a Western Conference Game 7 quarterfinal round between Dallas Stars and the Calgary Flames. The Edmonton Oilers won yesterday, so that was 1 win for Canada, but they lost to the Toronto Maple Leafs because the Tampa Bay Lightning came all the way back to win that one in 7. They played 11 times, did the Maple Leafs and the Lightning, and the only team that won back-to-back was the Lightning in Game 6 and 7. That was good enough to close out the Maple Leafs. This is Shillington now for the Flames, as Lucic will dump this in the far corner, pick back around, as Calgary's trying to get on this thing right now, but they can't. Dallas able to break out there with Michael Raffl. He's done very well since being promoted to the first line. The referee almost got skated into. My goodness, you don't see that too many times. And now Calgary entering their own zone. Hannafin shot right on, stopped over the midair as Kachuk got a piece of it. This goes back to Hannafin. Slap pass to Gaudreau. He left it there. to Branson. Hannafin, it goes wide one more time. Picked up by Johnny. Holding this behind the net. It's stuck in between the face-off dots, and Dallas survives and gets this one down the ice. As Rasmus Anderson now will play this across from Hannafin. Anderson now has it. He leaves it back for his defensive partner one more time. Calgary is getting stuck in their own end there momentarily, as Dallas will pinch this in ever deeper. Again, 9 shots to 2 on the shot board, but Dallas is up 1-0. Backlund puts this in softly in the right corner. Majapani trying to get off of that forecheck there and picked up there one more time by Dallas. Stuck in the neutral zone. Coleman, it's held off now. Go ahead, man.
It's a testament to the goalie for the Stars there, having that good defense against that rally against the Calgary. But now they look like they're trying to go back. Well, yeah, there was a shot there. The goalie stopped it. He's playing pretty good hockey tonight. He's having a lot of interference, having a lot of traffic in front of him. But he's keeping his composure and is defending the net real well tonight.
Yes, to speak of your point, the Zadorov shot was just saved. Jake Ottinger is 23 years of age. So you would expect a goalie to maybe have a deer in the headlights to be at that point, but not this guy. He's been probably the best player, unless the best goalie, the best player in this series, but the best goalie by far in this playoffs. Dallas is going to the box for 2 minutes. I'm going to look and see what that is going to be on right now. Michael Backlund was being interfered with from what I saw. But let me look at this box score here and give you the penalty. So Miro Heiskanen, 2 minutes for high-sticking Blake Coleman. So it is a 2-minute minor. So this is a chance here for Calgary to turn things around, score on the power play, and tie this game to the sea of red that is waiting at the Saddle Dome. Shot on, stopped there by Ottinger, and picked back up by Dallas. They're going to try to pinball this thing down the ice again because they're on the kill. This is no icing, but the Calgary power play is 1:40 left to go in the contest. It was an even strength goal assisted from Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn that put Dallas on the board. Johnny Gaudreau plays this one to Backlund. He gets momentarily knocked away. Backlund trying to get on this one now with Elias Lindholm. Lindholm leaves it for Hannafin toward the blue line. Rasmus Anderson. Hannafin. Now to Foley. Back to Hannafin. It's wristed into the traffic and fought off and out of play. With 1:19 left to go in the Calgary power play, 10 minutes left really on the first period, is about halfway through the first period contest. Ottinger, to your point there, is a very, very solid in net. We take a look at Rick Bowness. Right now, the Dallas Stars head coach. He's been there for a long, long time. I think he's about 64 years of age now. He may be one of those coaches, I would say, that could be on the move. And if anyone wanted him, they would definitely take him at this point. The Detroit Red Wings have a big vacancy, and they could use somebody like that. Mikael Backlund now.
Who's that vacancy?
No, the vacancy for the Red Wings, they don't have a coach right now, so they could definitely use somebody like that. Shot goes right off the bar, stop there, and now it goes all the way down the ice. Somehow Jake Ottinger didn't concede a goal there because it just went off the post. Rasmus Anderson tries to get an entry through 3 Stars. He pays a heavy price for it, and now it's a race. One-on-one, shorthanded, stopped there by Markstrom, and then rattled around the net. It is 22 shot attempts to Dallas's 4, and yet Dallas is up 1-0 in this contest. Unbelievable at this point. Pinballed once again, picked up by Markstrom out of midair. That looked a little dangerous there. Now Zadorov can set this up one more time. Picked up there by Johnny Gaudreau. Left it there. It's on the right wing side. Rasmus Anderson tries to go around for Toffoli. Spin and hold. It's played around the net now. Looking for a wrist shot into the traffic. It's momentarily fought off by one of the Dallas defenders and picked back up. Gabranson now. Zadorov holding. He's going to wrist it. It goes way wide and up off the glass, and Dallas survives the first power play of the contest. They kill it off, and Markstrom will play this one out of his goal crease. 8:30 left to go. Calgary, Alberta John out here with you with Darren here in the sense of the Game 7. This is Scotiabank Saddle Dome. 13 shots to 2. Calgary with that advantage. It's loose up in front and stopped by Ottinger for his 14th save already. So Dallas is kind of just holding on right now as we come to a commercial break.
Yeah, Calgary had that power play. They were not able to take advantage of it. But Dallas was able to take advantage of the penalty by Calgary, starting off. So, we've seen it where, a play like that in the first 2 to 3 minutes of a game can make a difference, later on during the game. So, yes, Calgary is being aggressive, and they're keeping the puck on their side of the Dallas' side of the ice, but the only thing that counts is if they put the puck inside. And the goalie for Dallas is doing an amazing job, even with all the traffic and all the activity on his side.
Yeah, like we said, Jake Ottinger has been terrific in this series right now. I want to just make sure to throw this out there on your side. At that first goal that was scored, that was not a penalty on that check either. It might have looked like one. That was a full contact, no call there on the other side. But what led from it, as you said, from that aggressive play was a face-off win in the neutral zone by Dallas, and it was Sagan to Ben, and that was the first goal of the contest. So we're officially going to get back into the action right now. So we got about 8:23 left to go on my ESPN feed here on the sensitive. Rope Hintz was a late scratch of an upper body injury. That's a little bit of a development that we did not know going into the contest. So Dallas is without their best face-off man and without one of their best 200-foot players. So that's why you probably see Dennis Gurianov in there right now. So it's 6-6 on the face-off board here right now. And this is a chance for Calgary to get one in the offensive zone. And they do. They keep this alive at the red line. This goes to Noah Hannafin into the screen, fought off there by Ottinger out of midair. And now this goes behind the net as they try to wrap it around Jake. And now Dallas will get this one down the ice. It's going to get picked up here by Noah Hannafin. And I would think if you're Calgary at this point, as the shot goes wide and then held by Markstrom and then played, but I would think if you're Calgary at this point, you would have to like what you're doing. You're firing a ton of shots at Jake Ottinger. You just don't want to see the point where he looks like the second coming of Patrick Waugh that he's done it a few times in this series. So don't change really what you're doing if you're Calgary. But if you give up another one on the shot board, despite not having, 3 shots here for Dallas, they could look a little bit of trouble there if they went up 2-0 at this point, considering everything that Calgary has done. Dylan Dubé now plays this one around for Yarncroc. Yarncroc holding off the backhand. And the former Nashville Predator was keeping that one alive, and it was held there by Ottinger. Now Tivoli and Peterson come together here momentarily, but I think they're just exchanging a few smiles there. Not much going on. 7:23 left to go in the first period of action. We're getting a live look right now of the Calgary fans all sitting outside. Again, they don't want to feel that same level of disappointment that Toronto did, coming all the way back and then losing against the Tampa Bay Lightning. It remains to be seen when I've heard people tell me that the Tampa Bay Lightning are not as good as they used to be. I don't know if I buy that one. I'll definitely say that.
I don't know if I buy that one either because, they're the defending champs if I'm right.
Back to back, yes.
Yeah, so, players are going to get older, but they're right in the thick of it. And, I didn't, that was part of my ignorance. But they could be another one that can hoist the Stanley Cup again also.
Yeah, no doubt about it. If it stays the way it is and Dallas can somehow pull this upset, but that remains to be seen. I don't know how many times you can take these shots and hide that crack in the armor that they've done a few times there, but to their credit, Jake Ottinger has stood on his head, and that's why the scoreline is where it is, and that's why they are where they are right now with a chance in a Game 7. So this is picked up now by Oliver Shillington. There was some pressure there by Dallas, but they did not get any shots. Nick Ritchie, former Dallas star, plays this around the net here for Calgary. Ritchie lost it, and now this goes into the center zone across the flaming sea. Picked up there by Miro Heiskanen. Heiskanen trying to play this off the backhand, and Zadorov fouled him off nicely there as he was able to just knock him away from the puck, but it was kept inside. Nice hit there by Calgary one more time, and this puck is going to go down the ice for an icing, so it's going to be an offensive zone draw here in favor of Dallas with 6:03 left to go in the first period. So, to your point of the physical play there for Zadorov, they were hinting on the ESPN side with Bob Wischusen that they could have called the penalty there on that side, but the referee in this Game 7 so far has been letting them play. That's what I think all these players would prefer at this point. And I would say if you're going to call a penalty on someone, especially when it gets late, unless it's a beheading, they're pretty much going to let these guys play at this point.
Well, let's not hope there's a beheading. So
no. Blading through the blue paint and stopped there by Markstrom as Jamie Benn had a chance for it. But usually that's what you see in Stanley Cup hockey there. There has to be something very extreme going on in order to give one of these other teams an advantage, because you don't want to just give a power play out there in any sense of the imagination. So we're going to get an ESPN timeout. We're going to come right back. So I'm going to see if I can get a live look at this right now. So the Rangers, they have won. They survived Game 7 here. It was a 4-3 final. Let's see who got the overtime goal. Artemi Panarin, 4:46 in on the power play from Adam Fox and Mika Zibanejad. So the Rangers are going to be moving on to take on the Carolina Hurricanes in the Eastern Conference semifinal. So that was a big-time gritty effort there by the Pittsburgh Penguins. They went all the way to 7. They spent most of the time, with the exception of this game, without Tristan Jarry. It was the help of Casey DeSmith. And then when he went down in Game 1 that I had for you in triple overtime, it was Louis Domingue to try to finish that one off all the way through until this Game 7. So the New York Rangers are going to be playing the Carolina Hurricanes. They're just showing it right now on the ESPN big board, and that was right through the screen. Artemi Panarin's shot had eyes, and the Rangers are moving on.
Also, on the NBA note, the Dallas Mavericks beat the Phoenix Suns 123-90. So they'll be moving on to the Western Conference Final, and they will be playing the Golden State Warriors.
And then on the Eastern side of things, it's going to be Boston and Miami at 8:30 Eastern on Tuesday, preceded by the NBA Draft Lottery. So as we're back underneath the action, what a glove save by Jacob Markstrom as he robbed Joe Pavelski to keep this at a 1-0 scoreline. And I cannot tell you how monumental that glove stop was in terms of where Calgary has been. They've been largely outplaying Dallas in this game, but Dallas is up 1-0. That was a gorgeous glove save there. So Dallas wins this draw, keeps us alive along the boards. Pick back up in the slot. Markstrom's down. It's loose. And the ref blows this play dead. And Jamie Benn and Coleman, they got them by a chokehold. They're all in front of the net of Markstrom right now. 5:39 left to go in the first, but the Zebras did a good job of just stopping this before everything else got escalated as Klingberg drove to the net. It was loose. It went off the right pad of Markstrom and stayed out. Yes, we are. Markstrom has made a couple of big saves here for Calgary when things looked like they were about to boil over as far as maybe giving up another goal. And if you're in that locker room, look, none of these players are going to sit there and tell you they're nervous in the Game 7. But if Calgary were to go down 2-0, considering the way they've played throughout this first period, you would have to wonder if you were a fly on that wall in that locker room how these guys were feeling. Because Jacob Markstrom's made 63 saves and only gave up 3 goals at home in this series. And Jake Ottinger has been very, very similar in terms of both of these goalies having over a 96 save percentage. I mean, it's been absolutely ridiculous on both sides. So Jorn Krok lost the draw, and this goes down here for Dallas to put in, and Calgary trying to get this out of their own zone. They're hemmed in. Nice tip. Stop there by Markstrom. 28 shot attempts to Dallas's 12, but it's been ever climbing over the last couple minutes. They're starting to put a little pressure in here. Robertson trying to hold. Nice spin off there by Calgary to fight him off of a chance. Shillington in there as well with Jorn Kruk trying to spin this one around. Joe Kiravana getting dumped there a little bit by Hannafin. Picked back up by Shillington there momentarily. And now Calgary can get this out of the neutral zone. Dylan Dubé, nice work. 2-on-1. He likes to shoot. Tapped out of the air and stopped by one of the Dallas defenders before it crossed the line. Gabranson now keeps us at the blue line. And this bounces across the left face-off dot. Toffoli leaves it for the one-timer. The shot goes wide of Ottinger there. As Dallas can get this across the flaming sea, and Nikita Zadorov for Calgary and settle this one down. This is played across there for Gaudreau, and now all the way down there for Hannafin. On the other side, Lindholm, he gets hit a little bit. He's trying to hold that stick and hold off the body there. This is stuck around the right faceoff dot now as Dallas emerges with it. It's a 2-on-2 the other way. Nice chip and chase as Michael Raffl is able to get a hold of it. Picked back up by Calgary as they're able to spin around with Nikita Zadorov. Zadorov knocked down, no call. Raffl's holding this off the left faceoff dot. Picked up now by Ty Dellandrea, and Jacob Markstrom's going to take no chances. He's going to hold this one across the left post with 4:02 left to go in the first. So there has been a lot of crazy action here on both sides. And again, I've seen a lot of these games. This is the first one I got to cover with you. The other two I had before with Cooper Hopkins, as he's the legendary Calgary expert when I was doing some of the color call, as you are doing now. And in the sense of it, there has been a lot of chances for Calgary more in these games than Dallas, but Dallas has been able to find that eventual goal. And Daryl Sutter wanted some better goaltender play from Jacob Markstrom. And it's hard to ask a goalie that has above a 96 save percentage to play better, but that's just what it is right now. Jake Ottinger has been a stone wall here for Dallas. 3-on-3 now.
You gotta have some help from the offense if you're going to. There's only so much defense you can play.
Absolutely, and there hasn't been
all sports.
There hasn't been a lot of goals to speak of right now. Majapani has been able to stick in there. Ryan Suter is getting worked over there by Majapani. Backlund trying to join in. This is at the right faceoff dot. Zadorov. He lets the wrist shot go into the screen. Stopped there and held by Backlund nicely as he played the body and got the puck. Backlund spins this one around to Blake Coleman. Coleman plays it out front of the blue paint. It's loose, and Majapani couldn't get a piece of it. Zadorov couldn't find it, and this goes back out through the defensive zone. As Eric Branson plays this one across to Zadorov. Now Gabranson one more time as the offensive lines get changes. Nice work there to go all the way in and skate as Lewis tries to get a piece of it, but the play is blown dead. 2:51 left to go in the first period. Again, Calgary, big advantage on the shot board, 16-8, but it was Sagan from Ben for the first goal of the game off the first shot for Dallas. And Majapani came together there a little bit with Pavelski with a couple of stick whacks and Miro Heiskanen. And they just showed that on the side of our screen as we get a look at Daryl Sutter now. With 2:51 left to go in the first period. This has been a good contest on both sides. I don't think the rubber is yet to meet the road here, but look, you see Jake Ottinger, 224 saves in this series alone, third most in any postseason game. And those save totals are going to be climbing ever more as we still got 2 more periods left to go still. Dylan Dubé bodied off the puck. And now Ottinger will play this one to Yanni Hakanpää. Going to pass this one down the ice. It's picked up in through the neutral zone. Dallas trying to chip and chase to this thing. Oliver Shillington gets a stick on it. This is played by off the backhand from Tyler Toffoli. and Dylan Dubé tries to get this one down the ice to John Klingberg. On the other side now, it's picked up by Dallas, and this goes over the bench before it crosses the red line. So we got a neutral zone draw with 2:17 left in the first period. So I'm glad that you could join us here for this Western Conference first round. This is the final Game 7 that you'll have in the NHL in the first round. Again, the New York Rangers just took out the Pittsburgh Penguins, so they're going to be taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. And whoever wins this contest, the Edmonton Oilers will be waiting for them. If it's Calgary, it's going to be the Battle of Alberta. And if it's Dallas, Dallas might have their hands full with Edmonton as far as Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, because those two can put up points in a hurry. Connor McDavid is one of those ones in running for the MVP, the Hart Trophy. Picked up across the red line, now back across the defense there. This is Johnny Hockey. Nice move off the toe drag, bounces it to himself off the boards, but his pass gets intercepted. It's a 1-on-2. Dallas is going to chip this one in there with Ty Dellandrea, but Dallas gets on this first, trying to play this into the blue paint. It bounces off where Michael Backlund can pick this one up across the red line. He plays this one. Kachuk going to let the wrist shot go. Oettinger saw it all the way. No trouble for him there. Minute 30 left to go here in the first period. So what about this fast-paced action that you see on both sides? Would you say that Calgary doesn't need to change much of what they're doing, or what are you seeing out there?
I mean, the only thing that really needs to change is just for them to put the puck in the net right now. It looks like they're playing good defense, and they're putting they're playing the puck in Dallas' side, but it's just that they just can't, as much as activity they have, just can't seem to put it behind that red line or that blue line, that blue line. So they just have to keep plugging away. I wouldn't really change anything right now. It's only the first period. So.
I think from what you're saying, that's been more along the lines of this series in its entirety, to be honest with you. Nobody has been able to survive and figure out any of these goaltenders, and that's why we've had such low goal scoring totals that we've had. Going in all the way into Game 5, again, it changed a little bit, but both goalies had only given up a combined 6 goals on both sides. So this is just something. 6 for Ottinger and 6 for Markstrom. And again, almost a 97% save percentage. But Calgary has had the better pace of play right now. They're trying to hem off John Klingberg. This is picked up by Blake Coleman. And now Oliver Shillington will get this one down the ice. Mangiapane tries to fight off Miro Heiskanen as this bounce across the red line right now. As Michael Backlund will play this one for Noah Hannafin. Noah Hannafin gets it down to the forwards there, and they're going to go ahead and take a change as Jake Ottinger goes behind his own goal crease. 5:15 offensive zone time. The Dallas is 2:46 as we're down to 25 seconds left to go in the first period of this contest. Again, it was Sagan to Ben as the only goal at the first shot of the game. Yarncroc to Dylan Dubé. Dubé trying to pressure in. Tyler Toffoli joins in. Former Los Angeles King there with Daryl Sutter. It's played across behind the cage, but Dallas is able to find this thing with Esa Lindell. Nice check work there by Dubé to pry this one loose, but that's going to end the first period. Dallas up 1-0 on the scoreline from Ben and Sagan just a minute in. So we come right back. We're going to call more of the second period action when we return. So, Darren, I appreciate you doing this. It's up to you as long as you want to stay here, because I can handle everything else. If you want to stay and hang out or do the call and all that, I appreciate it too. But I'm going to be here until this game is done. So whatever you got to do, boss, it's all up to you.
Okay, I'll pause just for a minute. I got to take a little water break.
Yep.
I'll be back as soon as the second period begins. But I also want to make a brief announcement before we start.
Sure.
Or when the second period begins.
1 diabetes. Don't share needles or pens. Reuse needles. Don't take Ozempic if you or your family ever had that Hillary thyroid cancer or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2 or Hillary. Stop Ozempic with medical help right away to get a lump or swelling in the neck, severe stomach pain, or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Tell your provider about vision problems or changes. Taking Ozempic with a sulfonylurea or insulin may increase low blood sugar risk. Side effects like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems. Looking to get back in your type 2 diabetes zone? Ask your healthcare provider today about once weekly Ozempic. You may pay as little as $25 for a 3-month prescription. For everyone. Welcome to the Lexus First Intermission Report. The desire to win has to be the one game that is all or nothing. I'll take me over you ready, man. Game 7 on the standing of Totals.
There's interesting figures out. It's a ton of money. This play is kind of up and down. Sometimes fans can't figure them out. Boy, Game 7 here against the all-important first time.
Coaches can figure him out. I guarantee you, he's out there a lot. He's out there for a reason. He's tough as heck. He's tough to play against, especially when you're on the ice. He scored tonight. That's great news for the Dallas Stars. He hasn't put the puck in there consistently. They would love him to get hot in case they win the next round. They have to go 2 more. The guy is just a close to dream as far as I'm concerned. He's always there for his teammates. He's always doing the dirty things. He's always paying that price. And if he's on the ice doing what he's doing against the team that's out here, the Dallas Stars say that. It's just movement. You're ready to go with your mind. You're ready to go in the stuff. Right? So, motivating factor really is tough, man.
That's the goal. The all-important goal in Game 7. He's going to get it.
Jamie, already without Glendening and then Rope Hintz taken out of the game due to injury right before puck drop. How are you adjusting on the fly to those line changes?
We would change up the bench. It's a great opportunity for us to step up and play more minutes, and we're going to do it collectively as a group here.
You scored that early goal just 40 seconds in. How do you keep the lead and build on it in Game 7?
We get to feed our folks on check on. They're a good team. They're a good team. Some good looks around. We got to tighten up a little bit. So keep moving forward.
Good luck, Jamie.
Thanks a lot.
32-year-old Jamie Benn turns 33 this July. So, Chris, you're a veteran D-man on Dallas. I'm just curious, you look at that fastest game-opening goals in Game 7 history. That's a quick one, just 40 seconds in. Much on Melville back in 65. Hey, boys, 14 seconds in, we're up 1-0. What do you talk about? What do NHL players talk about, especially the vets in the room? Game 7, you're up 1-0 after 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on teams when you're under siege, and like, as a defenseman, you don't want to throw the puck in. They get a good forecheck, and you got to eat it, keep it on the same side, so your players can come support you and help you, and kill their forecheck. But I mean, you got to be ready for their shooting from everywhere, so you got to be ready for that early. And again, with your goalie like you have it out there, just go ahead and rebound, nothing through the seam, and it's going to continue like this. But they got to keep doing the same thing if they get pounds. Calgary, it's tough. It really is.
It's tough to beat him one-on-one this game. We shall see. Meanwhile, Game 7, overtime thriller. Penguins, Rangers.
Just for the YouTube side of intents and purposes here, let me update everybody on what's been going on today. So in this game, we're in the first intermission right now. Got about another 10 minutes or so. The Dallas Stars scored off the first shot of the game. Jamie Benn from Tyler Seguin and Ryan Suter. I struggle to tell you any different things. Even I think Cooper would say the same if he was in here as well, being the Calgary fan resident. 17 shots to Dallas's 8, 11 hits to Dallas's 5. Face-offs have been about the story, usually about 12 to 11. Calgary still has the advantage on that. And one power play opportunity where Calgary looked pretty dangerous, but they did not get any goals. They've just not been able to solve Jake Ottinger. But again, there's still 2 more periods of action to go. In the game 5, they were down 1-0, came back, scored 3 goals. On the other side of things, it looks like your NHL board, as far as your second round matchups, look pretty set. The New York Rangers, they found a way to win in 7. Again, there was 3 game 7s yesterday. There was 2 more today on the NHL side of things. So let me give you those goals. It was in the first period, it was Chris Kreider. So he had 52 in the season. Mika Zibanejad and Braden Schneider. And then it was Danton Heinen on the power play from Evan Rodriguez and Jeff Carter. So it was 1-1 after 1. Jake Etzel scored on the power play from Brian Rust and Sidney Crosby. So Crosby came under concussion protocol to play Game 7. He was questionable to start, so he gave it everything he could. Keandre Miller then scored for the Rangers, assisted from Andrew Kopp and Ryan Strome. Evan Rodriguez scored shorthanded. That was a big-time one there for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Take a 3-2 lead just before the end because Zibanejad scored late in the third. That was the only goal of the third. Andrew Kopp, his third assist on the playoffs. You go into overtime. It was Artemi Panarin scored on the power play because Zibanejad and Adam Fox got the assist. So the OT was 2 minutes for holding Keandre Miller on Brock McGinn. And I would say, again, that has to be closer to one of those awful penalties there, because when you look at it the other night, when Toronto lost in overtime in Game 6, it was one of those ones where, again, you can look at it either way you want to, but this is the truth. Austin Matthews was held for about 7 seconds on the jersey, and there was no call. And then immediately when there was play on the other side, Tampa had scored. So I wonder exactly how egregious it was for Brock McGinn to have to be called against that, but the Rangers came back and scored. So if you're a rooting fan on one way or the other side, there might be some intrigue in there. So let me know in the comments section on any sides if you see what happened with that. So the NBA side, I covered a game earlier today with the Celtics and the Bucks, and I'll say this to you. For as much three-point shooting as you see in the NBA right now, and again, I'm probably one of those closer old school guys as far as I could take it or leave it. I don't really like that as much, especially when you're just shooting just for the sake of shooting. Well, that happened really for the Milwaukee Bucks, as they were 4 of 32 from distance, and they got their barn doors blown off by the Boston Celtics here in Game 7. It was really never close. By the time you got into the last 5 minutes of the third period and all of the fourth, the game was over. And then on the other side, for the Dallas Mavericks and the Phoenix Suns, it was much of the same. I went to go get some food and everything else after writing the game story and getting all the audio set up for the first game coverage, because I was going to cover 2 today because I didn't get Friday and Saturday chances. I look at that and I was like, this game's already over by the second quarter. So in terms of all the intrigue, as much as everybody loves basketball, and I will give you that, the NBA playoffs are something special. As far as some of these games in the NHL playoffs, thankfully they've had a lot more intrigue and they've been a lot closer and more competitive in that sense of it. You would hate in this Sunday, but again, it's extra revenue for these clubs, these organizations, and all that. But you'd hate really what you see today in terms of winning by 35 something points like that. And it's crazy in a Game 7. You think it'd be a lot more competitive. So it was 109-81. That was this final score that I had there for you at the beginning of the game on ABC between Boston and Milwaukee. And then Luka Doncic had 26 at the half. Phoenix had 26 at the half. Dallas goes on a roll, 123-90. So very, very tilted Game 7s on the hardwood here today.
I'm sorry, it's stepped away from this game.
You're good, man.
What shocked me again was the Dallas Mavericks and the Phoenix Suns matchup. And thinking that the Suns, would have the home court advantage and they would have the extra day of rest, and that would help Chris Paul. It didn't turn out to be that way. Dallas was just they were just hitting on all cylinders tonight, especially with Luka. I shared a stat earlier tonight where at halftime Luka had 27 points and the whole team for Phoenix had 27. That was scary.
Yeah.
Because if you have a player that's scoring as much as the whole team, that's needless to say, you're behind the eight ball. And I guess Dallas just smacked him in the mouth, soundly in the first half, and just didn't, and Phoenix just never did recover.
No, they did not. Let me take this one step further here because I'm going to get your basketball analysis on this from what I saw. We covered the Bucks and Celtics today. So I think about it last year, and again, I know this isn't a vacuum, but hear me out on this. So Mike Budenholzer was the coach of the Bucks, right? So the Bucks had a chance last year to lose in Game 7, but Kevin Durant's toe was on the line, right? So they end up going all the way through. They win the NBA Finals. They lose today against the Celtics, pretty much get destroyed because they decide pretty much to not cover Grant Williams, whether personnel or strategy. The guy was free to shoot 17 3-pointers. So my point to you is this: if the Bucks lost last year to the Nets and they lost the way they did today, do you think Mike Budenholzer still keeps his job?
I believe so. I don't think. First of all, Budenholzer is a coach. My goodness, he's given not given, but he's led them to an NBA championship. And that was like the first one in almost 50 years.
Yes.
So won 1971, and it was 50 years. For 50 years, if you lead a team, let's say it was a losing culture, but they have if you've not won championship in so long, and the coach that you have now, finally gets you over the hump. You don't want to upset or upset a good thing right now. So I would say, yeah, you would be crazy to let him go.
And again, I was saying that over the stretch of 2 years, if they would have lost, so you still would have kept Budenholzer no matter what.
Oh yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm not getting any crazy overreactions because I thought about that today and I typed that in a little bit in the story and I'm thinking there's going to be some fans that are going to be a little bit upset with what happened today and what could have happened last year. But again, like you've said, getting the championship last year, I do believe this. He's got about a 4 or 5 year grace period. It is the Milwaukee Bucks. They've accomplished their main assignment from a couple of years ago. And you know what that was? Signing Giannis Antetokounmpo to an extension. So they have their star to stay. But I will say this, it wouldn't have mattered if, at least to me, if Chris Middleton played at all in this game, they would have lost anyway. Because the way that they played defense today and the way that it was pretty much non-existent, again, I did a few of those games with the Mavericks and the Jazz, and I know that was a little more personnel related because Gobert couldn't cover, Maxi Kleber or Dorian Finney-Smith, or if you want to throw, who else is there from that Washington trade? I'm trying to think of his name now, and I'm drawing a blank for some reason. But
I'm drawing a blank too.
So Davis Bertans. So I know that there was some other ones there that there was personnel that couldn't be covered, but I was wholeheartedly surprised that Budenholzer didn't ever want to cover that guy. They never picked up Grant Williams.
Well, Grant Williams was not perceived as a threat, so there wasn't as much attention focused on him. Grant Williams not taking anything away from him, but you didn't, most of you heard of Jaylen Brown and
Sure.
and Marcus Smart and Horford. And then I think it was is it Hayward is on there? Is Hayward on that team?
Yes, he was.
Okay, yeah. Okay. You can't think of one other guy, but so Grant Williams was not perceived as a threat. Now I did see on one instance where Milwaukee was huddling up, and he was in the huddle. He was in the Milwaukee huddle himself. The only thing was he plays for the Celtics, so there was kind of like a little intimidation factor there. I'm surprised he didn't get elbow in the chest, from invading huddle. But needless to say, he was like their spark plug. As Mark Jackson commented during the game, he's one of those teammates that you want to shut up. But he said that you have to have guys that are like that on your team to keep spirits up on the team. You can't. I mean, I'm an introvert myself, but you don't want a team with a bunch of introverts. You want somebody that's going to stir the pot, somebody that's going to make some ruckus every now and then to get the juices flowing, to get something going on the team. So, that's just the way he is, and they saw that. And the Celtics fed off of it, and they're advancing to the Eastern Finals now with playing against Miami. So.
I'm going to join back in here of the Dallas Stars and Calgary Flames action as we're just underway here. It was a good intermission conversation between all of that stuff, and now we got Noah Hannafin all the way back to touch up here for icing. So for Calgary, they've got some work to do, but as we said, we've gone over a little bit of those from the very beginning when I was in here with you as far as the intermission totals here. And it's 17 shots to Dallas's 8 and shots on goal and chances. And Jake Ottinger has made 17 straight saves to be able to give Dallas the chance here right now. They're getting a little bit outplayed, but it doesn't matter about all that stuff. It's what you see on the goal board right now. And Dallas is up 1-0 as we're getting a look at Jason Robertson. Picked back up now. This is Elias Lindholm and Jamie Benn on the offensive zone draw here for Calgary. It's important that they win this one, and I feel like we've said that a lot over the last few games that have been covered in this series, but it just has not happened as the puck ricochets and goes up and on a plate. So it's going to be a neutral zone draw with 19:17 left to go in the second period of action. I think I'm going to have to join back into this ColorCast thing because mine's kind of getting cut off a little bit. Give me 1 second. There we go. So now I go back in here. Yeah, it's all good now. I don't see the name on the other side. It just shows me as casting it, but I can hear you though. So I think we should be good though.
I'm having some technical problems on the TV end of my side, so I'm just gonna follow you. Just gonna follow you back here.
Okay, that's fine. Or if you know what, man, if you want to just stay in the chat and listen to whatever, I can handle it all. I'm good on this side if you're gonna get stuck with it.
I should be up and running soon. So.
Okay. So 18:52 left to go here in the second period. It's another face-off chance for Calgary as they get this one set up with Stone. Stone lets the slap shot go. It gets blocked there by Dallas and try to get picked up back around. The hit was knocked off there, picked up one more time. Tyler Toffoli lets the wrist shot go in through traffic, but it goes off a bunch of Dallas skates. Tyler Seguin trying to get around Kelly Arncroft. As the number 91s are following each other closely here. This is Roddick Foxen now, held off the left side boards. Pick back up one more time. Nice toe drag. Try to get centered out in front of the blue paint. Stone holding, plays it into the blue paint now, and it goes held nicely across that blue line. It goes in! Calgary scores! Tyler Toffoli into the traffic, and the sea of red is jumping up in an absolute frenzy. My goodness, that kind of came out of nowhere. But again, that is all sorts to credit of the work of Calgary in their forecheck to be able to keep this one alive. And Tyler Toffoli, that puts a smile on my face personally when you're liking all those LA Kings teams into the mid 2010s. He gets the tip out of midair, ties the game from a Shillington wrist shot, and Tyler Toffoli is now on the board. It's been a while since he scored in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Makes it 1-1 tie now. So, my goodness, this has changed. And Calgary, I said this a few times, they've got to feel good as far as what they're doing in this game. They just want to see those pressures and results. And they finally got one here. Rasmus Anderson held off the board. Johnny Gaudreau, now Miro Heiskanen. Gaudreau lost it there. Heiskanen with some great defense in behind the cage there of Jake Ottinger. Picked back up by Jason Robertson. Held in there by Rasmus Anderson, but this gets ping-ponged back to Dallas. Heiskanen now plays it to Robertson. It's in across the slot, and they score immediately. Dallas answers right back. And wow, what a play that was. I think Miro Heiskanen was able to move that all the way around. I want to see who scored for Dallas, but what an absolute backbreaker that was for Calgary. They just came back. They had all the momentum as far as scoring. It was a nice neutral zone entry there for Miro Heiskanen, and what a play. Vlad Nemestikov, former Detroit Red Wing pickup at the deadline. Nice sauce pass from Pavelski. One-timed in the net pass, Jacob Markstrom. And now it is 2-1. Vlad Nemestikov with another Game 7 goal. That is his third. He had two of those with the Tampa Bay Lightning. It's the first in this series. Dallas back up 2-1 after Calgary just scored, courtesy of Tyler Toffoli. So this has been absolutely crazy. We've been looking for the offensive breakthroughs in this series. Well, we got one within the span of a minute apart between Dallas and Calgary, but Dallas still leads now 2-1 on the goal board here. Dallas still trying to buzz here. Oliver Shillington trying to get this back into the play of Ottinger, picked up by Ben. Joel Caravana, nice move. Tries to get this out in front, picked up by Dallas, but some active stick checks there by Calgary to move this thing around. Trevor Lewis plays this one back across the blue line. Dallas intercepts now. Lewis, one more time, knocked aside by the stick blade there of Jake Ottinger. Picked back up one more time by Calgary. Shot across the blue line. Ricochets way wide from an Erica Branson blast. Still picked up lively there. This is Mikkel Backlund now. Backlund trying to find something into the blue paint, but he gets cut off. And this is picked up now by Dallas. Caravana gets this one down. This is still not going to be icing because it got deflected off of a player. And Calgary needs to get back on their horse here. Beautiful outlet pass. Blake Coleman holding off. He fights off the forecheck there of Dallas. Gets a shot off. Stopped by Ottinger. Now picked up across the boards. Now Calgary has this one more time. Erica Branson holding. He's going to let this one go. It pinballs off the inboards. Mangiapane gets this in deeper now as Backlund is trying to play this one. He's going to hold off the backhand, plays it in around the cage. Calgary into the slot, stopped by Ottinger. One more rebound, stopped by Ottinger. All kinds of bodies in front of Jake. He can't get up, and one of the Calgary players is being held down. Surprised that's not a penalty. The shot almost went off Heiskanen's dome as Calgary still has this one. Gabranson in the slot, lets it go. Glove save, Jake Ottinger. My goodness, he has been a revelation in this series. 3 big-time saves by Jake. 23 shots on goal for Calgary. The Dallas is 9, and Dallas is up 2-1 still. So 15:51 left to go in the second period. Jake Ottinger has been brilliant. And if there's a story in this entire series, it will be that. And the question will be, if Dallas goes on and wins this game, can they do the same in Edmonton? Because I would say, for as good as Calgary has been, they've not shown it as much throughout stages in this series. I will say that. But Edmonton, my goodness, with those chances between Draisaitl and McDavid, it'll be remain to be seen whether or not Dallas can keep them off the score sheet. Dallas now finally in the offensive zone. It's been in the offensive zone pretty much every time Dallas has scored. Calgary's had it there for about the next 5 minutes, but they only have one conversion. Jacob Peterson being held there by Oliver Shillington. Dylan Dubé now still trying to hold as well. Shillington, Dubé, trying to get this one back across the left side of the paint. Picked back up by Tyler Toffoli, played off the backhand. And we'll see right now if Calgary can enter here. Dylan Dubé bodied off nicely there by Sagan. Heiskanen slammed by Dubé. It's kept across the right side boards. Rasmus Anderson, Hannafin into the screen. Made one save. It's loose. Another save by Hunter with the right pad. Picked up now by Dallas. And now Calgary can intercept this thing. My goodness, what action on both the ends here. Hannafin, Lindholm leaves it there. He's working off the right faceoff dot. Plays across the blue paint. It's loose. What a save! Jake Ottinger says no. Somehow he stopped that from going across the blue paint. That was the save of the game right now. Robertson, Nemestikov spins this around. Dallas still keeping it in the end of Calgary. They've not done much with it, though, but they have 2 goals. And now this penalty is going to be on one end, and we're going to get a realistic look on who it's going to be here in a moment. So 26 shots on goal for the Calgary Flames. Jake Ottinger is superb right now. Every sense of the word of why Dallas has a chance in this game. And if he wasn't playing this way, Calgary could easily be up by 5 or 6 goals at this point. Trevor Lewis might be the guilty party. He's going to be called for tripping on Vlad Nemestikov. And unfortunately here for Calgary, if the worst happens and Dallas scores on this power play, this could be danger time considering, again, with how much time there is left to play, you would think that wouldn't be a legitimate thing to say, but the way Jake Ottinger has played right now in this contest has been absolutely brilliant. So we'll see what ends up happening here as far as all of that. It is 2 for 13 at home and 0 for 10 on the road on the power play side of things, and yet you're still in a Game 7 side of it. So pick back up one more time. This is Dallas on their power play side. Dallas will keep this alive across the red line. Markstrom tries to play this one. Dallas finally gets in there off their power play with Heiskanen and Robertson to try to find this thing. Robertson now plays it back there for Shillington. And now this goes all the way down across the red line and dumped in. So Calgary can get their penalty kill line changed here. John Klingberg gets it back to Heiskanen as they got their 2 offensive defensemen here on the ice with their 3 forwards. Dallas, nice look. That's a good stop there by Markstrom off the glove. That was right in the slot. Klingberg now. One more time. Wrist shot stopped there by Jacob Markstrom. 26 shots on goal for Calgary to Dallas's 10 that we just updated on that power play side. Wow. Jason Robertson absolutely denied as it just went up above. We take another look at it on the ESPN side. Just got the glove hand on it, did Markstrom. That was a point-blank opportunity there for Jason Robertson. Markstrom had to make that big save at this point. Again, I know there's so much time, but the way that Calgary's played, they've dominated, but they've really not been able to solve Jake Ottinger. They need to be able to kill this penalty and move forward here. So now this is Gabranson. He gets this one down. Kelly Kruk will spin this one around. And I think we're going to get a penalty call as Eric Gabranson got knocked down. This is going to be a 4-on-4 with 52 seconds of it. And then we're going to go immediately to a Calgary power play after that, as Raffle might be the guilty party. Let's get another look at it here. Okay. So this is going to be Raffle boarding, no doubt about it. Gabranson had turned, so he got absolutely sandwiched there. And I think they were fortunate to only have a 2-minute minor on that side of things. So Michael Raffle, 2 minutes for boarding Eric Gabranson. And this is going to give the Dallas Stars a negation here for their power play. It's at 52 seconds on 4-on-4 before Calgary will officially go to their second power play of the contest. Michael Backlund with Jamie Benn instead for the draw. Now they're going to go with Joe Pavelski instead. Joe Pa set to put the stick down here. He wins it clean for Dallas. And this is Miro Heiskanen. Heiskanen now spinning around. This is played off of Ottinger, off the gold cage. Picked back up toward the left face-off dot, where Dallas is trying to enter there with Klingberg. It's fought off there momentarily. Now Pavelski will play this one back to the Flaming Sea. Intercepted there, and Calgary can take their time. Again, still about 25 seconds left of 4-on-4 action before we get anything else. Shillington, his shot goes high and wide. The pinball is back toward the right face-off dot where it finds Andrew Mangiapane. Mark Stone now trying to get in deep. Stone spinning and holding off the right face-off dot, leaves it there for Backlund toward the blue line. Backlund into the traffic, fought off there by Ottinger, but he saw it all the way. Picked up by Backlund. He tried to play it into the slot. He got it back, and now Jimmy Benn will intercept. This is the Calgary power play now, with the minute abbreviated, but Dallas is on this puck. It's played right in front of Jimmy Benn. He holds off nicely toward the right face-off dot, but he had to just eat the puck there. Odd man rush. 4-on-3, too heavy of a pass, and that could be some offensive interference there for Dallas. I think that was a little bit heady there for Pavelski to try to knock that one away to stop Calgary from getting a chance. You just put your body there inadvertently, and that killed about 35 seconds of time. So 30 seconds left to go on the Calgary power play right now. Elias Lindholm, Rasmus Anderson, he dumps this one around the inboards. Calgary trying to get on this thing, making anything out of this abbreviated power play that they can. Keep this alive along the left face-off dot. Held there. Johnny Gaudreau in the slot. He faked the shot, passed it instead. Jake Ottinger made one save, and now it's still on the right side as Gaudreau uses that body. It's held in around the left kick plate and taken out by Dallas. So the Calgary power play is going to end. Jacob Markstrom, nice outlet pass to Gaudreau. Gaudreau working his way to the slot. Tkachuk scores! Matthew Tkachuk ties it at 2. Wow, what an outlet pass there for Markstrom. And again, if Cooper Hopkins was in on this, he probably would fall all over himself at this point. What an outlet pass there for Markstrom. Set up Gaudreau. The power play was ending. He passed it right to the red line. Gaudreau leaves it for Tkachuk. He snipes it short side. That was gorgeous. Matthew Tkachuk ties it at 2. Wow, what a goal that was. And a big time moment at that when you think Jake Ottinger is Mr. Invulnerable here. That was a gorgeous, gorgeous goal. And Calgary ties this one at 2. What's going on? Hey, Nick, man, if you're on the Colorcast app and you want to join me, you can definitely join me on this side. It's just me here on the YouTube side. But, yeah, this is great right now. This is an excellent game. Again, Dallas is trying to get more double trouble as the Mavs had won. They demolished the Suns. Another Game 7 for them on both Bally Sports side of things. So, 10:55 left to go here in the second period. Here comes Calgary one more time. 3-on-3. Holding off the backhand. Wiped out and down, and the net is loose. Who is down there for Calgary holding the shoulder is the question. What a rough hit there into the boards, and I don't think it could have been averted there. Man, that was a stick that got in there for, I have to look at this again, Zadorov maybe? Oh, man, that was not good there as far as the rough hit on the other side. There really isn't stagnant on the other side. That was a great play on the other side. So Nikita Zadorov got just destroyed as Johnny Gaudreau left it for Tkachuk, tied it at 2. And we're going to go to a break right now, get everything situated. Be right back.
We're working up a sweat before coffee. And say no.
Jardiance is a once-daily pill that can reduce the risk of cardiovascular death for adults who also have no heart disease. So we can help save your life from a heart attack or stroke. And Jardiance lowers A1C.
Jardiance has serious side effects including dehydration, genital yeast or urinary tract infections, and sudden kidney problems. Ketoacidosis is a serious side effect that may be fatal. Beware of the life-threatening bacterial infection and skin your immune system. Stop taking Jardiance and tell your doctor right away if you have
Oh.
symptoms of bacterial infection, ketoacidosis, or an allergic reaction, and don't take it if you're on dialysis. Taking Jardiance with sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar.
Lower A1C and lower risk of a fatal heart attack? We're on.
We're on it with Jardiance.
Ask your doctor about Jardiance. Hey fellas, we've got to talk. It's about your food. It has spray-on flavor and powdered meat. It's time for fresh food that belongs in the fridge next to our food.
Oh.
Who's hungry? Fresh Pet. Hitting the road. Not all 5G networks are created.
So if anyone's joining in on this side, this is one hell of a contest that we have right now. Calgary has scored 2. And again, Dallas has been punch for counterpunch here on both sides. And Nikita Zadorov and Suter there got the stick in there. Jake Ottinger had to jump over Zadorov. Zadorov's elbow went into the net, and it looked pretty bad. So as we're coming back into the action officially of the recorder out here, it was Zadorov that got hurt into the net of Ryan Suter. I think that should have been a penalty there as he tripped Zadorov. He went all the way, and Jake Ottinger had to jump over him and pick back up. So, my goodness, that was a dodge there for the Stars. This is Student H, and his shot goes way wide. Nice body check there as Fox had got ridden off the puck. Pick back up, Majapani lets this one go. This goes high off the kick play. Dallas now. You get to this one, but Noah Hannafin finds it at the blue line and intercepts it right now. Hannafin spins it off for Toffoli, and now Dallas can reset this thing. If you can believe it, 60 shot attempts for Calgary, 20 for the Dallas Stars, and it's a 2-2 tie right now. Rasmus Anderson holding, tried to leave it there for the other side for Calgary. We're just trying to get this across the blue line right now, and Dallas is just going to oblige and get some changes here as they get this one in deep. Calgary, Hannafin. Now it's going to go back to Hannafin one more time from Markstrom. He's going to try this one more time. 29 shots on goal for Calgary, 2 goals. 10 shots on goal for Dallas, 2 goals on both sides. So they're going to need just a superhuman performance here for Jacob Markstrom. I don't really sit here and blame him for all of these ones on that, but for the way Calgary's playing, you find this way and you expect your Vezina candidate. Again, this probably is going to go to Igor Shesterkin, but you need him to close right now. Trevor Lewis, he gets this one down the ice, and Jake Ottinger is going to take no chances and hold as we got a meeting right now in toward the blue paint. 9:22 left to go in the second period. We get a stoppage.
Everything we've ever done, nothing compared to what we imagine for the future. Power of dreams.
People need to read it.
I can't read it.
It's because you're like 4.
Switch to progressive and you can save hundreds. You know, like the sign says.
Okay, there we are. Yeah, I missed the last 2 goals. Because, from what I understand now, finally Calgary's got number 9. It's tied 2-2. So,
Yeah, Dallas is they've been good with the limited chances that they've had, but Calgary has not taken that pressure away. Again, they were not discouraged by their first period of not being able to put something in the net. They've been all over the Stars right now, and they're just trying to survive here. Jake Ottinger has been brilliant, as we've said. Take a look at this right now on the ESPN side of things. Jake Ottinger, 236 saves, most saves in a 7-game series with no overtime. Ken Dryden, one of the best in the world, Hall of Famer at that 260. So Jake Ottinger is going to get pretty close to that 260 by the time that this game's said and done, he might pass it. They're considering the way Calgary is playing this game right now. With 9:22 left to go in the second period, it is 2-2 on both sides. And we're going to give you your official goal scores here when we get another stoppage. This is picked up now by Calgary and intercepted by Dallas as this goes down for an icing. So let's do that now on this side of things. So the first period, it was just one goal. It was Jimmy Benn from Tyler Sagan and Ryan Suter. Off the first shot of the game, 40 seconds in, Tyler Toffoli answered early in the second period from Michael Stone and Oliver Shillington. It was Vlad Nemestikov, former Red Wing, from Jason Robertson and Joe Pavelski, and then Matthew Tkachuk at the 8:44 mark from Johnny Gaudreau and Jacob Markstrom, your goaltender, getting an assist on that one. A beautiful outlet pass that let a setup there for Gaudreau, set up Tkachuk, the snipe short side. 17 shots on goal for Calgary in the first, 13 in the second, just 8-2 for Dallas. So all intents and purposes, this game should be a lot worse than it actually is on the score line. But Ottinger, once again, as you said throughout the whole series, has been absolutely stunning. So 54 shots in Game 4 for the Flames. That's fifth in the NHL playoffs. Dallas is dead last at about 28 attempts per game. So you'd think this cannot last forever, but to Dallas's credit and Rick Bowness, they've made this go 7 games, and they're in this game right now, no doubt about it. Studenic tries to hold this one, plays it out in front of Markstrom. Pavelski gets destroyed, picked back up by Hakanpää. I think it bounced almost off the right bar. Picked up by Esa Lindell now. Rasmus Andersson. Vlad Nemestikov now toward the left faceoff dot. Nemestikov plays this one. Now it goes back in behind the cage of Dallas. It finds the right faceoff dot. Yeah, I think it did. Yeah, it did. It went off of that part of the bar. And on the other side, Gaudreau. And Lindell's going to shield this one off to keep him away from it. As this goes across the red line, it's not going to be icing because it was last touched by a Dallas player there. And now this gets chipped down the ice where Jake Ottinger will come and play this one. Radek Faksa will spin this one back around. Studenic is going to turn on the burners, but the puck didn't get there before he got there, and somebody got sandwiched on the other side. This is Oliver Shillington, slow to get up here for Calgary, but he looks to be skating under his own power, a little bit shaken up there as he's going in toward the bench. We'll have to take a look and see what's happening to him. I think he's favoring his right arm. Yeah, so Oliver Shillington, as he was going for the hit there, he had a little bit of the jersey to try to brace for impact. He was trying to get a piece of Jacob Peterson, and he got all boards more than the man. So now, play is back underway here as we're 7:45 left to go in the second stanza. Faksa gets this one in deep, and it goes offsides once again. As Dallas entered too early, and Shillington is in a lot of discomfort on the other side. Not pleasant to see. Hopefully it's not a dislocation or anything else like that, because when you see that kind of face, that's immediately what I think of on that side. So hopefully he can be okay, because they're going to need Oliver Shillington. He's one of their top line defensemen. He's usually sitting on that second line. And if you lose him, you're going to go with an extra forward or someone else. You're going to have 5 defensemen be able to skate. Again, you can't dress anyone else that isn't already dressed in the contest, so you're going to be down a man. 7:42 left to go in the second period, tied at 2. As we are getting an extended look. Rick Bowness having some word here with some of his players. There's been a lot of big hits in this series. There's not been a lot of goals in this series. This Game 7's kind of 2-2. Looks more along the lines of something that we've never really seen in this series, and that's, in all honesty, the truth. There's not been a lot of conversions. There's been a lot more now than there's usually been, but just as physical, just as tense through the other 6 games in this series. Jamie Benn is going to get knocked out of the draw. This is Ty Dellandrea with Michael Backlund. Dellandrea wins this one clean, and this one goes to Miro Heiskanen. Heiskanen now gets this one pinball that goes back to him, and now Dallas or Jamie Benn will play this one in deep. Miro Heiskanen now stuck in his own end. Jamie Benn gets held off there nicely. Backlund Plays it into the blue paint. Gabranson trying to find a shot that the traffic is going to give this one back up. Get it back. Gabranson fires it. Ottinger stops it. And picked back up one more time by Michael Backlund. Gabranson wires one. And it goes off the left side backboards and picked up by Dallas as they get punished with the body. Held inside nicely there by Gabranson. But now he's going to say it's just offside as Delandria came in there to just knock the puck off just in time. As you get another outside shot of Calgary, Alberta in the Saddle Dome. This red light district here pretty much between these two teams. You got some Jerome McGinley jerseys. You got the pride of the Calgary Flames here. Haven't won a playoff series in a while, just like the Toronto Maple Leafs, but it's been a lot sooner than 2004. But you want to get another Canadian team in here in Calgary. If they don't win this one against Dallas, there's going to be a lot of questions about what to do in the offseason. There's no doubt about it. Rasmus Andersson plays this one from Hannafin, and Hannafin fires it wide. It's still back in Dallas's defensive zone. Picked back up by Lucic as the ref jumps out of the way there. Screen in front of the traffic. Dallas gets in front of it. Flubbed out in front. As Toffoli might have had a chance at an open goal. Raffl plays this one across. Intercepted there nicely. Good 200-foot game there by Milan Lucic from a Boston Bruin. Picked back up. Klingberg trying to spin across that right face-off wall. Lewis now. Lewis trying to find, and he plays this one to Rasmus Andersson. Andersson across that red line. It goes down the cage of Ottinger. Calgary buzzing, trying to get on this thing right now. Stuck in there between a taller Sagan. Sagan trying to find his way through that ice cream sandwich that is on that right side of the board. Picked up one more time by Sagan, and he gets this across the red line. Jacob Markstrom goes and plays this one, intercepted there by Dallas as Jorn Krok could not get to this one. Michael Stone now waiting. Nikita Zadorov will play this one down with Tyler Toffoli. Nice entry there. Dylan Dubé almost blows a tire, but he was able to dump this one in and keep it on side. Picked up by Dallas in their own end, and now this goes back in the neutral zone with Kelly Jorn. Michael Stone bounces his one off of Dallas and Essa Lindell. Toffoli has tried to stop Hakanpää from getting the pass, but he cannot. And this is picked up by Noah Hannafin. His Go Flames Go chant is going all across the Saddle Dome. Toffoli gets there first. He uses the body to hold up the puck, but he gets punished and loses it. Lindholm can't find it. It's picked up by Vlad Nemestikov, and Jason Robertson will get this one down the ice. Markstrom tried to play it around and almost got intercepted by Dallas, and now it does toward the right end boards, but Calgary still has enough bodies on this to keep it from being too dangerous. Jarnkrok plays this one back down, handed down off the glove there. Tkachuk, Matthew Tkachuk with a beautiful goal there, just tied this game at 2, try to find Gaudreau. It's intercepted by Dallas. Try to get played to Radek Faksa. Faksa slap shot blocked there nicely by Calgary. Trying to get back on this was Johnny Gaudreau as he's waiting in toward the blue line for the outlet. Pass does not get to him. Dennis Gurianov will get this into the corner. So Nikita Zadorov, who took that punishment into the post, he is okay right now, and he's back on the ice. So that's good to see for Calgary. Coleman, and it's bounced through the air to Gaudreau. He couldn't get a piece of it now as we're down to 4:25 left to go in the second stanza. 33-10 on the shot board. Calgary's got this tied at 2. Majapani tries to play it out on your Bulls are down. It's loose in front of the blue paint. No call there on either side, and Calgary should be able to touch this one. The icing is waved off. Noah Hannafin plays this to Michael Stone. That was a dangerous pass there, but it finds its way into the neutral zone. Intercepted there by Hanley. Hanley lost it. It's a 3-on-2. Mangiapane plays this one over to Michael Backlund. Backlund working his way into the slot. Leaves it there for Rasmus Andersson into the screen. Andersson couldn't find it momentarily. Now this is Jamie Benn. Jamie Benn across the red line. Gets the shot right on Jacob Markstrom. He had to be alert to be able to make a save. And he leaves this one for Nikita Zadorov now. Brett Ritchie, former Dallas star, pins this one in deep of Ottinger as he spins this around the cage. 20 minutes of puck possession for Calgary to Dallas's 15. Yeah, they had the offensive zone time. They've had the puck possession. They've had the shots. It's 2-2. Rasmus Andersson shot, pinball in front of Ottinger. Where is it? It's with Trevor Lewis behind the cage in Gretzky's office. He plays this one around the blue line. Rasmus Andersson waiting on the other side if it goes there. He pinches in now to try to get it past Pavelski. Brett Ritchie joins in. Calgary trying to use that body possession there with Milan Lucic. He runs over with a big cross check on the other side. and no call. Sometime they do that. There's Joe Pa got ran over, but there was no call. 2:50 left to go in the second period. As we've got end-to-end non-stop action. Markstrom now plays this one to his defensive partner, Dylan Dubé, waiting on the left side. Rasmus Anderson now tries to hit this one off the kick plate. Nice back pass there. Youngkrok, 2-on-2. Dylan Dubé leaves it in. Fought off with a stick of Ottinger. Picked back up toward the left face-off dot. Dubé. Youngkrok now with the stick, trying to pry this one loose. It finds Dubé now as he spins off the backhand, using that body strongly there. Youngkrok with the active stick to keep this one alive for Calgary. All sorts of possession now as the fans are standing and jumping around. Branson holding, pinballed, stopped by Ottinger off the 5-hole side and picked up by Klingberg. This goes in behind the net of Essa Lindell now. Lindell trying to get around the neutral zone, held off nicely here by Calgary. They're not letting Dallas do much of anything right now. 37-11. They've had the pace of play. Picked back up by Johnny Hockey. Toe drag, trying to the net, and stopped by Ottinger. What a gorgeous move that was as he slams his stick against the glass, but stopped by Jake there. 1:51 left in the second. What do you think of this end-to-end action that we're seeing right now as we get a stoppage? To your point, there's been 3 goals scored in this second period. It is now 38-11 with Calgary with the edge on the shots on goal board here. So it has been all Calgary, just like we've said throughout most of this entire contest. And Jake Ottinger has already had to make 36 saves. So Calgary is throwing everything they can at Dallas right now. And Jake Ottinger has responded in the goal crease. No, that is not to take away from anything that Dallas has done offensively, but it's just been little of the play in the offensive end, as it was Jamie Benn from Sagan and Suter and Vlad Nemestikov from Robertson and Joe Pavelski on that side. So we're getting another look. We're going to get close to the official action back here for this watch party. Everybody's enjoying it right now in the Calgary. So, Mika Kiprusoff jersey. I haven't seen one of those in a while. So, Mika Kiprusoff jerseys out in the Calgary watch party. That's always good to see. I haven't seen that in a while. He was an absolute beast. So, this is Jamie Benn and Michael Backlund in on the draw there. This goes to Gabranson in between the skate blades and stop there from the wrist shot from Gabranson by Ottinger. So, another one for Ottinger here. Let's get this official total here. This is 37 saves for Mr. Jake Ottinger right now, the 23-year-old, a 949 save percentage. And again, that is a little bit lower than what he's even averaging right now in this postseason in this series. This is in the 960s range. So that tells you how sick both of these goaltenders have actually been as Gabranson wins the hybrid icing. So it's going to be an offensive zone draw here for the Flames as they have a chance. They've not done so well throughout this year. It's been closer to 50-50, maybe a little bit more 55-45 advantage of the Stars in the draw in this entire series. Nikita Zadorov, it's good to see again. He's back on the ice for taking that collision in there with the post. And thank God this moorings actually come off now compared to what they did about 40, 50 years ago. You'd be losing some chiclets as far as if you ran into any of those goal posts. You don't want to have any of that stuff happening there. So Mangiapane is going to take the draw there with Jamie Benn. This is one claimed by the captain there of the Dallas Stars. And this is back to John Klingberg. Kept inside nicely by Mangiapane. Plays it to Backlund. Plays it through the blue paint. Tipped across in midair. And it went just wide. Backlund using the body. Mangiapane using the body. And now Calgary can reset this one more time with Nikita Zadorov. Zadorov now plays this across the red line. Suter gets it down here for Dallas. Dallas really has not found any sort of puck possession here in the second period. It's been all Flames. Backlund, as his pass went way wide, Dallas will chip this one down. They're getting it across the flaming sea now as they're attacking right to left in the victory gleam. One of the defensemen blows a tire that allows Markstrom to get a shot against him. It was stopped there, and now this goes down off the kick plate. This goes to Noah Hannafin. Hannafin's got to be quick about it because Dallas has a chance now in the offensive zone as it just pinball needlessly there. Dallas just seems to be able to flutter anything at the net, and I don't blame them because it's 40-12 on the shot board. Toffoli enters, and he gets this one in there deep for Hannafin. Toffoli trying to get on his horse here to knock this loose. Yarncrog with an opportunity. It's stopped by Ottinger. Second shot stopped there. Dylan Dubé now plays it. Toffoli gets knocked down, playing it off the knees. Dylan Dubé plays this around the right faceoff dot. In the slot, flubbed down there by Yarncrog. Picked up by Klingberg. Gets hit there hard by Dubé. Picked up there by Kell one more time. He puts this one across the cage, and it goes back to Dallas, and we're going to end the second period here. One more move. Shot stopped. It's loose, but time's going to run out. So Jake Ottinger made 3 saves in about a span of 20 seconds. Well, we're tied at 2. So this is something that we don't often see, Darren. Again, I will say one thing in the sense of you always see goaltenders, right, that are good. You really don't see breakout parties from a 23-year-old rookie playing like this. Dallas went a couple of years ago, if you know from the Tampa Bay Lightning, I'll just throw this out there with Ben Bishop when they won from before, and Braden Holtby when he won with the Washington Capitals. They don't have either one of those goalies. They had to rely on Jake Ottinger to be able to get the job done, and he's answered the bell in every single sense of the word. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, you think about it. Again, I forgot to mention this guy too, but Antoine Hudobin, a couple of years ago when the Dallas Stars in the 2020 Cup bubble, that was a time during COVID and all that, they made the Stanley Cup final. Not a lot of people picked Dallas to get to that point. Not a lot of people picked Dallas to get to this point one more time as they just snuck into the playoffs. They beat out the Vegas Golden Knights in the Pacific to be able to get that last spot. Antoine Hudobin went on a historic run, which allowed them to get into the Stanley Cup final before they lost to the eventual first-time Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning. Now Tampa Bay, just after finishing off the Toronto Maple Leafs, they're going to go ahead and play in the Battle of Florida against the Florida Panthers, going for a back-to-back-to-back. But at the very beginning of it, like we said, it was Dallas and unlikely goaltending that got them to this point. It's Dallas and unlikely goaltending right now that has them tied 2-2 going into this Game 7. So as we're in this intermission right now, if there's anyone else that wants to talk about any other things that are going on right now, let's, again, I think we should review some of the other basketball games as we've gone along. Again, we've reviewed the Penguins and the Rangers. So Giannis Antetokounmpo, you look at his stat line in a vacuum, it looks pretty good with 25 points and 20 rebounds, 2 steals, a block, but he took 26 shots to get those 25 points. And what really shocked me, especially in that second half, and again, I talked about the Budenholzer defense a little bit in the first intermission and the lack thereof in certain instances, and I again would Darren was saying on the side of it, I wanted to make sure to look on when I was writing the story about Grant Williams in the sense of he was a guy that averaged over 40% from three, and he's already made over 100 3-pointers. So I thought he would be on the scouting report in that season, but he's not. But what surprised me was Giannis, once they went back to him again, I know that they were already down double digits, but he was cold. There was times, again, there was some great defense there by the Celtics, don't get me wrong, but there was times where Giannis was open from about 4 feet or less right next to the basket, and he just didn't have the touch. He didn't have the finish. And I will say this, whether or not it's one of those situations where whether it was with a Chris or without a Chris Middleton, I don't think that would have changed the result in the scoreline of this series. Boston just played too well on all facets of it. It's a credit to them as far as how they've gone from considering what happened with Kyrie Irving. I will leave it at that and try to be as politically correct as possible to try to turn that franchise around in the worst, how much they've rebounded. It's the sense of Tatum and Brown, you knew that they were going to improve and get better, but the rest of this team has been able to buy in and just play well on every single sense of the imagination. Great effort there by the Celtics, but Antetokounmpo, he did not have it in the second half. Drew Holiday played his best. He was 9 for 21, but he also 9 for 21, 21 points. They made him shoot in mass. 0 of 6 from deep. He did have 8 rebounds. He did have 8 assists. He did have 5 rebounds. Was there anyone else of note? Bobby Portis was in foul trouble with 4. He only had 10 points on 4 of 9 shooting. And that was pretty much it. It was the Grant Williams experience. He set an NBA Finals record for 3-point attempts in a Game 7. That was 18 of them. So, my goodness. But that is the new age NBA. That is for sure. So, ESPN side just says Towns received stem cell treatment for injuries in his wrist and knees and all of that. So hopefully he'll be okay with all of that. Mavs stopped Suns in Game 7 in the West Finals, as we talked about. So the one in particular for me, I will leave this in for the intermission right now, as we got some things to talk about. So everybody knows that the Detroit Pistons are bad, right? I had to deal with that. I was able to be fortunate enough to watch some games with Cade Cunningham and do some stuff on the local side here from Michigan. There was some good entertaining contests between the Denver Nuggets up the back-to-back during that series where he had to step back, and Cade is definitely one of those ones. Wow, the Reds lost to the Pirates 1-0 despite not giving up a hit. That's a tough way to lose. There's one of those ones where Cade played very well. Sadiq Bey played very well. Marvin Bagley, that was a great shade there for Troy Weaver to try to turn all those things around. The reason I bring all this stuff up, the NBA draft lottery is going to precede the Tuesday Eastern Conference Final Game 1 between the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat as it goes to FTX Arena in Miami. So I'm going to be curious to see how far Detroit's going to fall. I know they're slated for a number 1, but how far they could fall, maybe to 4, to be able to pair some talent. Maybe Pablo Branchero, maybe Chet Holmgren, or anything else. Again, it's just a lottery bowl, not the actual player draft yet, but where they're actually going to be going here in a couple of months. But we're going to know on Tuesday.
Just to piggyback, say a couple of things.
Sure.
On the series flow, series with the Sixers at the Heat.
Yes.
Hard being a no-show. He wanted out of Brooklyn. Well, he got his wish, and he wants to play with the 76ers, and now he's not showing up in a critical game like that. It just makes me want to question his commitment to basketball. He got, everything that he's always asked for, he's got. And I think that he's just not, I don't know what's going on. I don't know
No, and to your point, I think there might be some of that commitment questioning, but I wondered as I watched him play throughout the playoffs, and we talked about this. I know a lot of us did, not you and I, but a lot of us talked about this in the sense of at the trade deadline, if Daryl Morey's trading for James Harden, the only way that's going to turn out to be a success is if they win an NBA title. They did not do that. Ever since James Harden played in the postseason, he's looked slow and he's not looked like the same type of guy that can get you 30 points on any given night. He did that a long time for the Thunder. He did that a long time for the Houston Rockets, especially. That's where he was really making a name for himself. I think something looks off with James Harden. He looks to be like he's lost a couple of steps. That might be to your point of where he's not playing that same kind of regimen, but it looks to me like he's playing either hurt or he just doesn't have the gasoline in the tank.
No, I think the way he was playing in Houston has kept caught up with him.
Yes.
I think he got tired. I think he got burned out, but still, you're a pro basketball player and playing at that level. You need to manage your body better. And from what I've heard from other sources, is that he was not doing it. He's been, kind of lazy. He's been a lazy player for the last year and a half or so, which he did not have that. He did not have. There was always a spark when he was playing with Houston. So I know it was Mark, Tony Dawkins, he's coaching, and he's more of an offensive coach than a defensive coach, but you know that if you're going into the Eastern Conference, you're going to play defense. And so, he just did not play well at all. He didn't play well all. And then on the other team, he was very disappointed in Brooklyn because Kyrie Irving only played like less than half the game. And I'm trying not to make this a political thing or anything like that. But whenever you make a decision for yourself, and you're not thinking about the team as a whole, based on information that's not factual, you're hurting the team. If you're only going to play less than half, it just makes me question your commitment also. I think really Kyrie was just really selfish. He was really selfish. I think that, the only one that was really playing for Brooklyn was Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant is like, the best basketball player right now. But there's only so much one player can do for a team.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with what you're saying on that side, and I'll try to do my best to keep it PC as well. But at the end of the day, it's his job to play basketball. It's not about the other stuff that's going on or what he wants. His thoughts and beliefs and all that stuff should be secondary to his team, as you're saying. And he really let them out to dry, in all honesty. The situation of why they were in where they were is because he wasn't available to play those games because he refused to get vaccinated. They probably didn't have to play the Boston Celtics. They did. The Celtics gave them a dose of medicine, and now Kyrie Irving can go back to partying or do whatever the heck he wants to do rather than play basketball. So when I think about James Harden and I think about Kyrie Irving, I think about one of the same player in a few different ways. And that's just a shame, like you said, because things should be a lot different for as talented as they are.
And I'm thinking this way. If I played so many years in high school, that's junior. I say no. You've been playing. You're fortunate as far as you've been playing since you were a kid. And the nation's greatest and millions of dollars. And you're having a privilege to play a sport, and you're playing at the top of your level. Top of the top of the field. But you want to make a decision to a selfish decision based on irrational information. And that just doesn't sit well.
No, it can't sit well with anyone. Again, I can say this: there's a lot of really bad general managers, especially in the game of NBA basketball. And but I'm very surprised to be able to try to make that move. You do whatever you have to do. Again, you want to get out of the Ben Simmons situation. I guess I could understand why Houston did it, but at the same time, what else you're doing is you're wasting Joel Embiid, and that's a damn shame in my end. So hopefully all that stuff can be figured out. Hopefully next season you see players like Kyrie and James Harden be able to play more games. It does amaze me. I know this is a different team, and I hate to bring this team up because they've been long eliminated. But all the blame I always hear against Russell Westbrook about he can't do this and he can't do that. At least the guy's giving effort and he's playing the games. So some of the other guys are not even doing that. So it's, I Yeah, no doubt about that. LeBron always wants to have a lot of veterans and stuff to play on his team. Again, like you said, sometimes it doesn't work out. I think it's time for Jeannie Buss and the rest of that organization to go back to doing what they're doing, and LeBron can finish out the rest of his wonderful years either in the Lakers or playing with the Suns or whatever else. They can go back to basketball and not making some of those player personnel decisions that he always likes to make there wherever he goes. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. I mean, hey, he brought the Lakers a championship right after all that stuff with Kobe, so he's fine there. But I think let him get back to playing basketball and let the Lakers figure that stuff out because they have to now, as they're going to look to rebound here. And again, I think most of that really falls on, like you're saying, health, and you need Anthony Davis to not be in street clothes, like Charles Barkley says. So we're going to get set here for the third period. We're just about maybe a couple minutes away here. So once I get another stoppage, I'll be able to plug in my phone. I still got enough battery here on the ColorCast side of things. So I will be with you until this game is over, and then I will be uploading the game story, hopelesssportsguy.wordpress.com. We already got Celtics coverage today from one Game 7. I figured once double dip because I didn't get a chance to do any other stuff this week. I try to usually get about 5 games in 7 days, get enough workload to get stuff uploaded. So hope everybody looks at it, appreciate it, enjoy the broadcast. I appreciate you, Darren, helping me out on this second part of it because my broadcast partner in this Calgary Flames side had to go to a wedding today, so he was not here. Otherwise, he is the play-by-play man for Calgary at least, and I would be on the color side of things because this is his team. So I told him I was going to go on here and try to do this call justice here while he gets a chance to maybe listen or anything else. So this has been an excellent contest right now. We are tied at 2 going into the third period, and I think just like I've said a lot, and as you pointed out, Jake Ottinger has been brilliant. If it wasn't for him, this game would be a lot different as far as the score line. I don't think, again, much has to change as far as the Calgary Flames and what they're doing. A couple of games ago, they were able to get a 1-0 deficit and turn it into a lead. So let's get into the action now. This is Michael Backlund and Vlad Nemestikov. Nemestikov wins the draw. We're underway now in the third period of action. Klingberg will bounce this one down with the help of Heiskanen, intercepted there by Calgary, and then picked off once more by Joe Pavelski. Noah Hannafin will get this across to Rasmus Anderson, as Anderson will go. And Oliver Shillington, he left the game with an injury. He was holding that shoulder. I was wondering if there was going to be a dislocation. He is back on the bench. It looks like he is suited up. I don't know if he's going to be able to return. So that would mean if he does not, Calgary is going to be down to 5 defensemen. Yeah, they would be down to 5 defensemen. So that would be tough for Calgary. But considering the way that they played, as Vlad Nemestikov is getting set up for another draw, Majapani, piece of it. Gaudreau, nice work in the slot. His shot goes wide. Picked back up, tried to pinball this one off the rebound. Picked up one more time by Gaudreau as he's working away around the net, trying to spin around Ottinger. 81 shot attempts for Calgary, 25 for Dallas. But we are still at a 2-2 tie. Kept in by Zadorov. Held in off the backhand by Majapani. Gaudreau plays this one nicely there with a stick. Gonna let this one go. Hannafin down Ottinger, made the first save. Picked back up by Dallas now as this couldn't get cleared out. Joe Pavelski is the first one on it before Zadorov will hold him off. Plays it to his defensive partner now, Noah Hannafin. So they're going to have to try to move some of these lines around. It's Daryl Sutter. Dylan Dubé, wrist shot. Fought off there by the stick of Ottinger. Dubé one more time in the left corner right now, trying to spin off. Picked up there by Ty Dellandrea, trying to get some time there for Luke Lendening with the lower body injury. Noah Hannafin. Rasmus Anderson now. Hannafin one more time. Picked up by Dellandrea. Kept alive across the blue line. Stopped by Ottinger and held with the active glove hand. So we're really just underway here in the third. Tied at 2. 18:32 left to go in the contest. And if this score line remains the same, remains tied, we're going to have overtime. That's going to be sudden death until somebody scores. So good contest so far. But it's really been one-sided. The score line doesn't tell you that, but Calgary has had so many chances. Jake Ottinger has been absolutely wonderful in net, as he's been all series. Jacob Markstrom has not been bad, but again, 2 goals on 13 shots won't look all that good, and it doesn't kind of play. It was went off the top of the pipe. It doesn't kind of equate to everything else he's done throughout the whole series. Matthew Tkachuk now gets this one down for Mangiapane, and Jake Ottinger plays this one to Tkachuk. It eludes his stick. Shillington checked back in, so he is going to fight through the injury right now. He is on the ice. Michael Stone lets it go, and Ottinger made the glove save. That was a bullet there for Michael Stone, as my partner always liked to tell me most of his shots are around the 90-mile-an-hour range, and you can certainly see that one as he let it go. So this has been good so far on both sides, and we'll see who gets next chance to get the lead. 91 shot mile an hour for Michael Stone off the howitzer. 18:02 left to go in the third period. This is the Western Conference quarterfinal. This is the last game 7 of the day in any sport. We have 2 of them in the NBA. We had 2 of them in the NHL. We had 3 of them in the NHL yesterday. 5 game 7s out of the 8 series was only the second time in NHL history that happened. Joe Pavelski off the saucer. Tried to lead that one back toward to Vlad Nemestikov, picked up by Noah Hannafin. Plays that off the backhand. Mangiapane now gets this across the red line, intercepted there by Dallas. Mangiapane one more time. Hannafin play crisscross. Back to his defensive partner right now as they get across the red line, looking for an entry. Michael Backlund tried to play this one to Rasmus Anderson. It goes around. Jake Ottinger makes the first pad save. And then this goes back down to the end of defense on Dallas's side. But a hybrid icing is going to be waived. Hakanpää could not get there first, so Calgary's got an offensive zone draw. 17:24 left to go in the third period. So, sure. Absolutely. I saw all of that stuff going on during these games and the things in Buffalo like that. So hopefully, in times like this, I'll just say sports can be a great distraction. And our thoughts and prayers are out with everybody out there in Buffalo tonight, as far as all of that. So 16:40 left to go in this contest. Lucic gets this one in there deep, picked up by Dallas one more time. Previous shot there for Calgary off the dumping was 98 miles an hour. This one goes down the ice, picked back up by Dallas in their own defensive zone right now. They're going to set this back up with their own partner there. As Klingberg gets this down, Sagan plays this wide, but this is offside. And the entry there on the other side is Bennett joined too quickly. So let me get you your official shot totals here. 46 for the Flames, 13 for the Stars, 25 hits for the Flames, 11 for the Stars. Face-offs, Dallas had the edge 28-23. We've only had 3 power play opportunities in this game. No conversions, 2 for Calgary and 1 for Dallas. So very even on that side, except for the shot totals.
It's amazing that Dallas has 2 goals combining all that.
Yeah, there's been so many chances here on the other end. When Dallas has had a couple of opportunities, especially early in a period, they've taken advantage of it. Shillington keeps this toward the left face-off D line. This goes to Kelly Youngkrog. Youngkrog gets bodied off by Michael Raffel. Again, we've said this. He's been very good since that promotion in the first line. Played in through the pinball traffic there. Shillington keeps this one alive as he gets around. He's looked pretty good as far as holding the stick and moving around. That shoulder looked to be bothering him. I haven't noticed it right now. Heiskanen from a Sagan feed. They've handcuffed Markstrom there momentarily, but this is going to get picked up by Rasmus Anderson. Anderson now working across that red line. He gets it in deep, so there's no icing there. Johnny Gaudreau trying to bother Michael Raffel. And Dallas now with Hakanpää will play this one across the red line. Leaves it there. Shot on Markstrom, fought off by the stick. And the paddle is held there for Rasmus Anderson. Johnny Gaudreau, Johnny Hockey now trying to get a clean entry. He can't save it across that blue line, but he goes across the flaming sea one more time to set this one up. Rasmus Anderson gets this one in deep. Now Dallas can get on this puck possession, try to find something out of the neutral zone. Dennis Gurianov is checked in now from this game in comparison to a couple of injuries. He is playing in this game 7. Mangiapane with Hanley. Joel Hanley now being bothered by Mangiapane. Kachuk and Zadorov also trying to get there as well. But Dallas and Hakanpää find this one across the red line. Zadorov now plays it from the goal stick of Jacob Markstrom. Zadorov backhands this one as it flutters in toward the blue line. Picked up by Michael Backlund. Nice move. It's a 1-on-2. He's going to like the shoot. He hits it high off the glass. Picked back up. A nice body off by Calgary, but here comes Ty Dellandrea. Dellandrea trying to hit this one out of midair. Picked up by Markstrom. Markstrom goes ahead and safely plays it back there to Hanifin. Start this one more time for Stone. Stone and Lucic. Lewis picks it back up now and gets this in there deeper with Nick Ritchie. Intercepted now. Calgary in their own zone trying to move this into offense. Nick Ritchie now holding toward the left face-off dot. Trevor Lewis almost knocks the net off its moorings. He has it now, but it's intercepted by Michael Raffel. Raffel trying to find Sagan, but elects to dump this one in deep. Picked up by Shillington. Shillington wires this one around the kick plate, and this finds Raffel's stick. In the neutral zone, Dallas gets an entry there. Miro Heiskanen. Shot blocker saved by Jacob Markstrom, and it goes around the blue paint. Sagan tried to play it out in front. Where is it? Now it's behind the net. It is a little dangerous here as Sagan tried to make a heady play. Lucic now back in his own end. He finds Tyler Toffoli. Toffoli tries to lead this one all the way across there for Rasmus Anderson, who's pinching out in front. So one of the forwards are going to have to go back and help. Noah Hanifin. Toffoli now, but the pass is too hard and goes off the stick. Now this goes back to Jimmy Benn, the captain of the Dallas Stars, being hounded by Tyler Toffoli. He leaves this one back there for Curavanta. Curavanta gets knocked off the puck, and now this gets bounced out in front of Toffoli one more time. Kept in nicely. Toffoli plays it out front of the slot, tries to go backhand, stopped by Ottinger. Now it's behind the cage. Toffoli trying to do some extra work there with Dylan Dubé. Elias Lindholm, part of that change right now. Dallas, this has been their best period right now. 6-3 shot advantage in favor of the Stars. As Calgary has had much of their momentum kind of be subdued here. It's been a slow third period right now. Hockenplock plays this one around the kick plate. Dallas trying to find on this one right now as Delandria tries to get this right now. He spins and holds. This is Jason Robertson. Lets it go through the traffic. Stopped there by Markstrom. Picked up one more time. This is Delandria. He pivots, and it goes up and out of play. So it's going to be a neutral zone draw here for Dallas and Calgary with 12:14 left to go in the third period. So the ebbs and flows, as we're going to be in a commercial stoppage, the ebbs and flows have gone to both teams, and now it's finally went Dallas's way. We'll see if they can try to convert something when we come back. Yep. All right, man. Sounds good, man. We'll talk to you.
Don't worry, she has a verified approval that lets sellers know she's backed by Rocket Mortgage. So Barbie wins! What? Yeah! You could buy Tesla Grace.
They did. My friend is going to be very, very happy to see that the Mavericks won too. So you get a chance here if you're watching this with me for Flames and Mavericks. Dallas can get a double dose right now. I was just checking back in. I appreciate the comments, man. I just saw that stuff now. You have a chance to watch two really good games right now. And if Dallas, I mean, they're being submerged by Calgary right now. You make no mistake about it. That's kind of what we've seen throughout this series. But still, all credit to them. You make it to a 7-game series when you're being outplayed like that. So I want to say thank you to my special guest here again, because Cooper Hopkins has not been able to be available in this Game 7. I wanted to give somebody a chance to be able to join in on me, so I appreciate Darren's appreciation to this broadcast and appropriations to it. So this is Calgary back with us right now. So Backlund tries to play this one into the blue paint. Majapani tried to get to it first, and now Dallas has this with 11:40 left to go in the third period. 19 block shots for Dallas, 6 for Calgary. They've had to block a lot of those. Otherwise, Ottinger would have had to make damn near close to 60 saves. Shillington's shot gets blocked now, and this goes down the ice. Picked up by Joe Pa. Joe Pa is going to bounce this one off the kick plate. This is going to go up off the inboards and on a plate. So hopefully when we get a chance to get back into this thing, I'll get a chance to reconnect with Cooper Hopkins in the second round. Now, secretly, I can't say this as a broadcaster, but I'm going to say it now on the Colorcast side of things. I'm hoping that Calgary can continue for the Battle of Alberta, so him and I can do a few more games together. I know what Game 3 and Game 5 was really, really fun to do, and I hope that we can do some more of that stuff. So I wish him good luck, and I wish the team good luck and all of that stuff. Again, this has been a great contest. But Calgary's just got to continue to do what they're doing right now. You'd think with this 11:20 left, they'd be in good shape. Shillington, drop pass to Foley. What a move! Stop there by Ottinger off the toe drag off the rebound. Stone had a chance at it. Toffoli did his best magicianry work there, as it's 48 shots on goal by the Calgary Flames right now to try to make that ever closer there. Nice toe drag to address the defender there. And Ottinger had to make a big save. That was a great move off Michael Raffel. And that's the kind of skill that you need right now. And if a goalie is playing as good as he is, you have to be able to make that work and make some chances with some skill sometimes. And he did that there. So this is going to be another offensive zone draw as Kelly Armcroft and Jimmy Benn will oppose each other right now with 11:13 left to go in the third period. Face-off, won there by the Dallas Stars. Really get picked back up. Calgary finds this one now. Branson will play this one. Yarncroc wants to one-time it. It gets blocked, picked back up by Dylan Dubé. One more time now. This goes back around the boards. as Calgary still keeps this thing alive in their own end. Tyler Toffoli, nice work holding off the backhand, trying to get around Miro Heiskanen. This goes to Dubé, back in front of the slot, and it went just wide. I almost was ready to call a goal there because I thought it went in, but it just went toward the left side of the post. Now Zadorov will hold this. He goes across the flaming sea, gets it down the ice. Ottinger plays this one. It gets intercepted there by Lucic. Pick back up. Calgary again has Dallas hemmed in their zone. I've said that mostly throughout this contest, but when Dallas has had just a couple chances, they find a way to convert when it really just feels like they're being dominated. There really is no other way to say it. So this goes around to Esa Lindell. Is Majapani now. Lucic also joining in as Daryl Sutter has mixed the lines. Majapani tries to do some work. Rasmus Anderson looking back in the blue line side. Noah Hannafin holds it down as he gloves it down, plays it off the kick play. They get it across the red line. And now this is Lucic. Lucic now to Rasmus Anderson. Rasmus gets this one down, picked up by Matthew Tkachuk. Again, he's the one that just tied the game at 2. Dallas has had a 7-4 shot advantage in the third period, but that does not speak for the 26-4 disadvantage that was in the second. Raffle, nice work holding behind the backhand right now. Raffle leaves this one for Miro Heiskanen. Calgary might have a chance. Elias Lindholm instead has to wait for help. He gets it now. He got checked hard. No call. Picked up there by Blake Coleman. Coleman holding and spinning. Plays it out for Gaudreau. Stopped by Ottinger. Now it's on a 9:05 left to go in the third. Zadorov gets his pass deflected all the way down. And now Coleman will get a piece of it toward the face-off side. Coleman finding an entry. He wants to look for Backlund, but instead he's going to put this one down the ice. And they're going to go off the forecheck. Backlund, Coleman combined. Coleman trying to get a piece of it. Backlund gets to it first. Now Backlund holding off toward that blue line. Tried to find Mangiapane, but the pass was a little too hard for the stick. Picked up now by the captain, Jamie Benn. He plays this one on the other side for Jacob Peterson, but he gets intercepted once more by Calgary. 48-19 on the shot board, but Dallas still alive in this thing. Tied at 2. Chance for Peterson, holding up the backhand. Plays in front, had to be stopped by Markstrom. He's down. He lost the pedal of the stick. He made the second save, and now this goes around the net of the Calgary defense, picked up by Ben. They were buzzing there momentarily, and Calgary was able to push them back out to the flaming sea. One more time, Ben trying to go in, and he bumped in front of Markstrom, trying to get that positioning. Esa Lindell went off sides, and Dallas has to firmly go ahead and tag up and get some changes. I think Calgary is going to do so as well. 7:45 left to go in the third period of this contest. Intercepted there in the defensive zone. This is Noah Hannafin. Hannafin now looking for Dubé. Dubé fires it off the left goal pad of Ottinger. He makes the save one more time there. 49-19 is the shots on goal in favor of Calgary, but the score is tied at 2. Across the red line, Dylan Dubé keeps this on side. Picked up by Dallas. Joe Pavelski racing it back and forth and stopped by Markstrom. Breakaway opportunity for Joe Pa, but he couldn't make Calgary pay. What a save by Markstrom, and they needed that so desperately. Richie now. Heiskanen working him over on the defensive side. Trevor Lewis falling down to his wallet. Keeps this one alive. Blue line side. Lucic looking, holding, slap shot through the traffic, and it's up and out of play. 7:03 left to go in the third period of the contest. Now, if you're looking for Jacob Markstrom to make a big save, he just made a glorious one. Backhand, forehand chance for Joe Pavelski. He's been one of the first-line production best during the entire regular season. Leading point getter on the Dallas Stars, denied by the Vezina candidate Jacob Markstrom. 2-2 tie. When we return, still 7:03 left to go in the third. Oh, you are listening. Good shit, man. I appreciate it. I know sometimes on this chat side, when you have this app up there, I don't see the text. So I appreciate you listening, boss. Hopefully it's okay as far as the call. I've been doing this here for a while. I usually got one of my buddies that is a Calgary Flames guy. I worked with him a couple times, so he's the one covering. So I was doing this game. I know they're trying to have allegiances on any of these calls. So I'm hoping for you that your team can end up winning as well. And on the other side, if Dallas ends up winning, that he'll do some more calls with me if his team gets eliminated here, because this is big time here, because whoever ends up winning this contest, it's going to be something as far as who's going to play Edmonton. So we get back into the official action right now. Zadorov's bid got stopped there by Ottinger. Dallas has a chance at it, but Calgary's been swarming. The captain, Jamie Benn, backhand, forehand, shot stopped there by the Calgary defense, and now picked up by Tyler Toffoli as he tries to weave his way through, and instead he's going to leave it back to his defensive partner right now. So we got the ESPN feed up right now. This is Game 7 with Bob Wischusen. Get this, 100 shot attempts to 39. I'm John out here your call on Colorcast with about 6:20 left to go in the third. Again, if it goes to overtime, I'm going to be here with you all the way through the call, as this has been absolutely excellent. And again, if you're a Dallas fan, you had a big time win as they pretty much stomped all over the Phoenix Suns. Luka Doncic had 26 in the half, and the Suns had 26 in the half. So Jake Ottinger has just tied Ken Dryden for the most saves in a Game 7 non-OT with 46. And we are still 6:15 left to go in the third. Shillington gets it knocked away. Johnny Hockey now gets it across the Red Sea, and this gets blasted in by Dubé. Picked up by Kachuk and now intercepted by the Stars. Dallas has this now. They're trying to play this one across the red line. Stone, Shillington now. One more time. Dallas is working their way through this one as they hold this down off the glove. Piravanta getting worked over. Raffle getting worked over. This is just stuck in toward the right face-off dot right now as time continues to bleed away. Now the referee can usually blow this one dead if there's not enough going on. I can't see it on the right side of the camera, but Dallas emerged with it somehow. Picked up by Hockenpah and gloved by Markstrom. So they kept this alive just in time and just long enough for a offensive zone draw here for the Calgary Flames. So very, very cool. I appreciate that, man, very much. So this is going to be a media timeout. We're going to call back in with the official action on the recorder when we return. Got about 5:30 left.
They show up for their teams, for each other, and for their communities. And at every level, from Pee Wee to the pros, Enterprise shows up for them. Proud to connect hockey fans to the game we all love.
As a Main Street vet, PNC has helped over 7 million kids develop their passion for learning. And now we're providing $88 million to support underserved communities, helping us all move forward financially. PNC Bank, we know we can make a difference for you.
So we're looking out for some certain names. One night bomb, and to the kid. Renegade to America on the promise of fair treatment for all. You have been arrested for murder or self-defense.
Good luck, lost.
Believe me, I don't really want to kill you. Make sure you get some decent there. To have some fun.
Disguises are so much fun, unless they're in your kibble. Chicken meal? That's Birdie Bits processed into powder. It's time for Fresh Pet. Wholesome ingredients with nothing to hide. Fresh Pet.
I think the fans here at the Saddle Dome realize the only way to
So the 23-year-old Jake Ottinger, they're trying to make faces are the Calgary Flames fans. That's hilarious during the break right now. They're trying to knock this guy off his game, but I don't think any of those kind of tactics will work. But I will think, as we talked about it with Antoine Hudobin, Braden Holtby, or Ben Bishop, you get this kind of performance here. This is why you're in this situation right now. Make no mistake about it. That's nothing against Joe Pavelski, Jason Robertson, and Rope Hintz, who's not available with the upper body injury, who accounted for about 45% of the Dallas offense. You're in this position right now because your goaltender is playing like an absolute beast. And it just goes to show. I mean, that's what happens. He's going to have to do a lot of the same against Edmonton right now. But if nobody was giving Dallas a chance, they're doing so right now with 5:15 left to go in the third, and they're in a game 7 right now. So this could be an absolutely victory parade for both Dallas teams right now if they can pull this one off. Plenty of time left to go. Shot into the traffic. I think it got stopped by the Flames defense before it did anything else. Here comes Majapani. Leaves this one back there for Rasmus Anderson. Played out in front of the slot, and it goes wide. And this one goes back to Nikita Zadorov now. Zadorov gets this across the Flames logo and attempts to blast this one in. It's gloved off by Ottinger, and instead of being played, it's held with 4:45 left to go in the third period of action. So Rasmus Anderson, that was nice hold-off defense there by Miro Heiskanen, and then an even better stick check there by Jason Robertson, who's come out of nowhere in the regular season, scoring 41 goals, leading the Dallas Stars in goals. Again, he's on the short list with Mike Modano and some of the others there. So there's just not often too many times where Dallas is a 41 goal scorer, above 40 at that, and Robertson, and he's every bit as good. He might have to pay a little bit of a price as far as being a youngster in his first postseason and getting that time and space in the blue paint. But he has a hell of a future here for the Stars. Sagan and Ben. Ben has a nice close off right now. Ben trying to hold this back out. This is on the right face-off dot and now intercepted by Dylan Dubé. Dubé plays this one to Kelly Yarncroc. Yarncroc now trying to use his speed and hold off Kiravana. Kiravana now is still doing some work against Yarncroc as he's leaving this around the right face-off dot. Now he's pummeled. There's all kinds of sandwich there, and the refs are going to have to blow this one dead because there's no way to be able to pry this puck loose with 4:12 left to go in the third period. We're still sitting at 2-2. Let me give you your official totals right now. If you're just joining me, it was Jamie Benn 40 seconds in from Tyler Sagan and Ryan Suter. Tyler Toffoli, then in the second period at 146 from Michael Stone and Oliver Shillington. Vladimir Mestikov from Jason Robertson and Joe Pavelski. And Matthew Tkachuk from Johnny Gaudreau. And Jacob Markstrom, the goaltender, got on the score sheet at 8:44. We've had no goals scored in the third period. We are still tied at 2 with about 4:12 left to go in the third period. And again, if we do not get a goal, if it's still remaining tied, we're going to go into overtime, and we're going to stay as long as we get a goal here. I will be here for you. Held by Shillington off the backhand side. Calgary has kept Dallas hidden in their zone several times. Dallas has played a much better third period, although the shot totals don't dictate that. They really have played much better than Calgary has in this later stanza. Trying to keep their seasons alive are both respective teams. Are we going to head to overtime is the question. Dellandrea, nice drop pass, Heiskanen. Where's the puck? It goes off the top of the right bar, and it goes up and on a play. So we're going to see what they're going to call here. I know this should be a neutral zone draw. I don't know if there was going to be an actual penalty. That was a great drop there for Dellandrea. Gets that one across to Heiskanen, and it goes off the top of the glass. Heiskanen had a bit at it. It went off the top of the glass. It bounced back to Dellandrea, and that's when the ESPN feed had cut. So Markstrom had to be alert on that side, and he was able to make that save. And that was a great, glorious opportunity. The backhand pass, the clever passing of that. You want more of those NHL game players to be able to do that in the video game side of things. You just seen that one in real life. Now this goes across the red line and goes up out of the player's bench. So we got a neutral zone draw now with 3:32 left to go in the third period. So the Dallas Stars are in the victory green. They are going to be attacking right to left. The Calgary Flames left to right. The Calgary Flames are in the red in the mix of yellow and white. It is 10 shot advantage to 6 in the third period for the Stars. It was 26-4 for the Flames in the second period. But Ottinger held that storm surge. Nice active stick check by Joe Pa. Keeps this one back in the zone. Spun around the cage right now, picked up by Andrew Majapani. Majapani now back in his own end. Michael Backlund tries to play this one across the red line. Joe Pavelski gets this one back out. Intercepted Majapani. He just missed the right side post as it just whistled across the glass. And now Rasmus Anderson can get this one reset. Noah Hannafin hits this off the kick plate. Ritchie, former Dallas Star, now on the Calgary Flames. It's going to be weird to be on the other side playing against your former team in the Game 7. Dylan Dubé tries to keep this one alive. Zadorov can be waiting on the other faceoff dot. Shot fought off by Ottinger through the screen. How many times have we said that right now? He's been absolutely brilliant. And Zadorov can reset this thing one more time. Zadorov now. Trevor Lewis lost it. Picked up by Dallas. Trying to work a two-man game there. And now intercepted by Calgary. Toffoli gets across that red line. We'll get this one in deep. Picked up by Lucic. Suter will steal. Suter has been an excellent buyout acquisition from the Dallas Stars. Intercepted by Lucic one more time. Hannafin cross pass goes wide. There's a flame stuck in the goal crease of where Ottinger would be. This is picked back up by Shillington. Spins around. He's looking for a wraparound. Instead, he stays for left faceoff dot. Slap shot. Hannafin blocked up in the air. Picked up by Dallas and Tyler Seguin now as Ben gets this one down. And Hannafin has to go back into his own defensive end. We're down to less than 2 minutes. 1:45 left to go in the contest. Tied at 2-2. It's 51-22 on the shot board. And this goes back down to Erica Branson. The Branson and Zadorov are the defensive partners out there right now for the Flames. The Go Flames Go chants are happening right now at the Saddle Dome as this goes to Johnny Hockey. A blur right through the zone. Nice give and go. Slot pass goes just wide of the shot attempt there for Michael Backlund. As that was close there. You can see that speed of Gaudreau on display. Left right across the timeline there for the Dallas Stars and across your radio dial. Vladimir Mestikov gets dumped there. Delandria lays the body down. And Gabranson trying to get to this with Zadorov. Delandria doing yeoman's work in behind the cage. Big Nikita Zadorov, 6'6", gets this one back down. But Dallas keeping Calgary hemmed in their own zone at the moment. And now they finally get across that blue line. The shot is just going to take that change. As this goes to John Klingberg. We're down to 45 seconds left to go in the third period. Tied at 2. Game 7. The last of the ones in the first round right now. Winner is going to take on the Edmonton Oilers. Coleman try to get to this first, and Dallas will intercept in their own end. This could be destined for overtime. Noah Hannafin back in his own zone. We're down to 25 seconds now. Backlund gets this one across the red line. Andrew Mangiapane. It's 1-on-2. Nice defense there. Raffle hits this off the kick plate. Jamie Benn gets it down the ice right now. Zadorov couldn't get to it first. Jason Robertson tried to get there first. And now this is Blake Coleman. One last rush here for Calgary. Coleman will chip this in on Ottinger. He could get to it first. Dallas will find it. Get it down the ice. We are headed to overtime in Game 7 between the Dallas Stars and the Calgary Flames. What a contest this has been. Jake Ottinger, get yourself some water and some food, my friend, because you're going to be out there again for an overtime in Game 7. And he's been standing on his head. Again, Dallas, I will say this, a much better third period effort from them as far as the shot chart is concerned. And my goodness, I'm very excited to bring an overtime for you here when we come back. If there's anyone else in the comments section, we can interact as we go along. I'm going to get some game notes typed in and get some score sheet stuff typed in because I got a contest to type up with this play-by-play when it's all said and done. But not until this game action is finally called. But when we come back, it's going to be overtime action. Stick with me.
Get all safe and be better protected from mayhem for a whole lot less. You're never responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card.
Looking to get back in your type 2 diabetes zone? Once weekly Ozempic can help. Ozempic is proven to lower A1C. Most people who took Ozempic reached an A1C under 7 and maintained it.
All right.
Adults lost on average up to 12 pounds. In adults also with known heart disease, Ozempic lowers the risk of major cardiovascular.
So there really isn't much that I can say as far as a scoreline opportunity. If everything else was as it should be, But again, it's the playoffs. Again, you can't really expect that to be the case. This game would have long been over. So when they showed the graphic on ESPN of Jake Ottinger, and he has more saves now than Ken Dryden does in a Game 7 non-playoff overtime, a non-overtime, I should say. Now we're heading into overtime itself. He already would be in good company, and now he's just going to continue to add to that total as the 23-year-old has been nothing short of remarkable. And again, it makes me believe of the same instances when Antoine Hudobin had that run in the 2020 Cup playoffs when nobody was taking Dallas in terms of the Tampa Bay Lightning. They were able to figure that one out and get that done. Jake Ottinger has had that same type of performance right now, and it's nothing short of spectacular. This has been a remarkable game on both contests. And again, for all intents and purposes, when the first and second period went the entire way, swung the whole entire way of the Calgary Flames, what did the Dallas Stars do? They came out in the first minute. They scored with the captain, Jimmy Benn, assisted from Tyler Seguin and Ryan Suter, who again was one of those pickups there because Bill Guerin had to let them go to pay Kirill Kaprizov on the other side. Again, Ryan Suter might not be one of those guys within the next couple of years that can still be on a first-line defense, but he can right now. An absolute masterclass on defense there, especially when you pair him with Miro Heiskanen. So in that sense, it's worked out well for Dallas. Again, Calgary did what they needed to do. Tyler Toffoli came out in the second period. He got a goal from Michael Stone and Oliver Shillington. And then just right at the drop of the hat, 30 seconds later, it was former Red Wing picked up for a fourth rounder in a couple of years, not even this year. So Detroit throws them Vlad Nemestikov, and he gets a goal in Game 7, assisted by Jason Roberts and Joe Pavelski. Matthew Tkachuk tied it with probably the goal of the game with Johnny Gaudreau and Jacob Markstrom on an assist when the goalie made a beautiful outlet pass toward the red line. It found Gaudreau. He dropped it right across in the left corner, and just a short side snipe by Tkachuk tied it at 2. There were no goals in the third period, and your guess is as good as mine for everything that I would say as far as the things on the shot board that are in the favor. And again, I'm just going to type up a few more notes here, and then we'll get back into that as we're in the overtime intermission. We're going to be heading to overtime here, tied at 2. First goal wins, and whoever wins in this series will be taking on Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl of the Edmonton Oilers. So Dallas fans have a lot to love as far as watching their basketball team take on the Golden State Warriors. And if the Dallas Stars come through, they're going to play against one of the best players in the world, and Connor McDavid, and probably a top 3 at worst, maybe top 5 at worst. I don't want to be mean about any of that, but that's the truth. He really is that good. So Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl combined for 125 and 110 regular season points respectively. Dallas was all of their production on the first line and nothing more. But I've said this many, many times throughout the broadcast in the sense of this. It doesn't matter where Rick Bowness puts Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn. If you're on the third line, if you're on the fourth line, anything else, if you mix it there with Denis Gurianov again, Alexander Radulov's not playing. There's some high-end guys on that back end for the Dallas Stars. And when you look at, just like I said when I had Cooper a few nights ago, when we did this game in Game 5, when you look at what's happening in that locker room, and you have veterans on one side and you have pretty much young kids. Look, I know Johnny Gaudreau has been the longest tenured. And, you had Sean Monahan before his game fell off, but he's not really even dressed anymore. And on the side of it, maybe Michael Backlund. But you look at that back end and you look at this Game 7, and you just wonder, with the veterans on that side, who is going to give you the advantage? And we're going to find out here pretty shortly here. We got about maybe 5 to 7 minutes left to go in this intermission here. I'd say probably closer to 10 if I'm being accurate.
So you got to be smart and shoot the puck. It's a greasy goal. Every time you score a goal in OT, it's a greasy goal. It's hitting somebody in the body, or it's hitting off the stick or something. You got to throw it.
Of course, you said Daryl Sutter. He screams that nonstop.
Right now, playoffs, I know what he's saying. Just get pucks in the net, get traffic. And you saw today at Klingberg, he lost his stick there. Just went to grab his stick from the court, That's what cost him that shot, and he screened his own goal. It was a goal. So you never know what's going to happen. Shit.
This is the Subway Overtime Intermission Report. Dallas and Calgary. Markstrom getting 21 saves. Who's going to get the overtime winner? The boys will give us some hits next.
One of the best parts of the ESPN highlights in the game is the Ken Kell call of the Steve Eisman blast from the blue line when they beat the St. Louis Blues. That was Wayne Gretzky and Brett Hall at that time, and they showed that there. So that was a double overtime game. I don't know if this game is going to go double OT, but no matter how many it goes, I will be here for you on that side. They show a lot of these things here in the overtime, and I will just say it like this. It doesn't matter in the overtime who gets the goal. You win the game, it's over. That's the likely aspect of it. But the thing that you really want to keep in live is this. Keep your shift short. Keep it under at least 40 seconds. Do not make any critical mistakes. Don't try to be a hero. Play smart with your team. Move up together on the ice. Get shots on when you can get shits on. You make the smart play when you can make it. Don't try to just, toe drag through 4 different people. You don't see a lot of that stuff in the playoffs. You're not going to see that in this game. Anyone else that tries to play a hero is quickly going to find their ice time dwindle here in this overtime. Rick Bowness and Daryl Sutter will not play any games on that regard. So I would expect both of these teams to be on their P's and Q's and figure it out and just know what they need to do. Again, this is one of those situations, and I'm just being honest with you, even though the Calgary Flames have a plus 85 goal differential in the regular season to Dallas's minus 8. When I look on the other side and I see the veterans in that locker room, especially with Jimmy Benn, Tyler Seguin, I'll even throw John Klingberg in there in the sense of it. There is a lot more of those guys in the locker room in comparison to the Calgary Flames. Now, when you get in this point in the season, especially in a Game 7 overtime, I truly believe all of that matters at this point. These guys know exactly what they need to do. They have a complete game plan of what they want in that locker room. And I think Rick Bowness is one of those guys that is no nonsense. If they don't follow that game plan again, they're going to see their ice time dwindle. You're going to be able to move Radulov, Ben, Seguin, maybe on a second and third line. You're not going to keep Jason Robertson on the first with Joe Pavelski the entire time. It wouldn't surprise me even if you move Ben and Seguin in that first line with Joe Pa to try to jumpstart some other things. I buy into that veteran leadership at this point, especially in this game. We talked about it on Game 5 when I was with Cooper Hopkins and we were doing some of that stuff again. I was doing the color. He does the play-by-plays, and probably even better than I am in that regard, even though he says a lot of nice things about me, which I appreciate. But again, it is what it is. He had that tough conversation with me, and he said, look, if they don't beat Dallas in this series, let's say they lose Game 6, and they did, and they go into Game 7 and they lose at home in the Scotiabank, in the barn, in the arena, does Calgary have to make these changes? And when I looked at it, and I got some of the numbers in front of me, let me just give you a couple. Johnny Gaudreau played all 82 games. He had 40 goals, 75 assists, 115 points. He was a plus 64. Kachuk played the entire regular season as well. 42 goals, 104 points, a plus 57. Elias Lindholm played all 82 as well. 42 goals, 82 points, plus 61. That's 3 40-plus goal scorers all on the same line, all at least a plus 57 or higher, all young. If you lose to the Dallas Stars when you're plus 85 to a minus 8, do you make changes? That's the question that he asked me. And now I'm sitting in the same spot in Game 7 by myself. I appreciate all of you guys in there listening abroad on the other side in Dallas. I have to look and answer myself that same question. Do I make changes? I think about just the other night with the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs have the best team they ever possibly were going to have, I would imagine. Maybe things can change with Kyle Dubas and Sheldon Keefe. Calgary's in the same spot. Again, Dallas probably isn't the same level of team that they would expect, but I've said this consistently to Cooper at this time when we were covering Game 3 and Game 5. When we actually working together with partner and all that, not like what it was today when we were just moving things around, and I appreciate any side stuff. But again, that's not normally what happens. When we had this conversation, I said to him that I think Dallas has played the better hockey throughout this series, and I mean it wholeheartedly. They've forced Calgary to be able to play their type of rugged, physical, tough, no nonsense game. They've closed down Calgary as far as their goal scoring chances. And look, Calgary has probably hemorrhaged Dallas a little bit, but that's why you have that man in between the pipes of Jake Ottinger to turn some things around. That's where you're at right now. But you have to take a long look in the mirror if you're Calgary, and at least even if you do advance, you will take a long look in the mirror in terms of what Dallas did to you, and you want to make sure Edmonton doesn't bring that same effort. Edmonton is a good offensive team. They're not the defensive team that Dallas is. I believe that wholeheartedly. Can Dallas beat Edmonton? That's another question for me. But right now, their concentration is on Calgary. They've thrown them every single punch that you can handle, literally and figuratively, between Kachuk and Klingberg within the first 3 games. And if you're a Dallas fan, no matter the situation, again, a lot of people didn't even pick them to make the playoffs. No matter the situation, you got to feel proud of this hockey team to be able to fight and survive and claw their way to a Game 7 and an overtime against a team right now that has thrown everything in the kitchen sink, but they cannot solve Jake Ottinger at this point.
Also send you this 5-piece utensil set absolutely free. It's a complete 17-piece set for only 4 payments of $39.99. Call 1-800-649-1002 or go to GothamStackmaster.com. The Stanley Cup playoffs on ESPN. Head to overtime again in a Game 7. For the second time today, multiple times this weekend. The Stars and Flames tied at 2. Bob Schuster, Brian Boucher, Leah Hextall. Here at the Saddledome, the story, quite simply, Jake Ottinger, more than any other factor in this game.
Overtime is going to get set to get underway on the ESPN feed with Bob Wischusen and Brian Boucher. If you're not sweating now, as the Calgary Flames, you should be, because you're in overtime right now of Game 7 against the Dallas Stars. But it comes down to this. 1 goal wins it all. If we go through the entire period and there is no goal, we're going to go until there is one. That's how overtime works here in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And it's only fitting that the final Game 7 of the first round goes to overtime. Now, my first one was Game 1 of the opening night of Stanley Cup playoffs. Went 3 overtimes between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Rangers. New York Rangers just won a Game 7 earlier today. They knocked out Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins. So the 16-year playoff streak is still alive. It could be going to 17 next year, but they didn't get anywhere they wanted to. They started the postseason 3-13 in their last 16. They did not win a first-round series again. And Evgeny Malkin and Chris Letang are set to be free agents. So this one is about every bit as good as it could be right now between these two teams, as everybody in the red is standing right now in the barn in the Saddledome. We are getting set for the overtime draw. This is Michael Backlund. This is Jamie Benn. Second day, multiple Game 7s went to overtime. It was last happened in April 29, 1997. And it was, again, the 5 overtimes out of 8 was just the second time in NHL postseason history. So there has been a lot of back and forth and a lot of just give and take as far as between all these teams. A lot of parity, and it's matched up quite well. So Dallas Stars trying to get set up right now. Again, they're playing without Rope Hintz in this game. They're playing without Luke Glendening. Upper body injuries. 2 and 3 are the Flames in Game 7s. 2 and 4 are the Dallas Stars. Jamie Benn plays this one. Johnny Gaudreau now. Gaudreau tries to get this pass out. He flubbed on it. Peterson lets it go, and it hits high off the glass. Bounces back to Jamie Benn one more time, and this one goes down the ice. I think this is going to be an icing, and this one will be, as Essa Lindell will touch this one up for a hybrid. Johnny Gaudreau pretty mad at himself at that as he ices this one down there. But again, this is one of those situations, as I talked about in the open. You just don't want to make too many mistakes as far as icing it, keeping your shift short, knowing where you are, knowing your personnel in terms of where you need to cover on the ice. You cannot make mistakes because you guys get tired at this point and get into overtime, especially in the multiple overtimes at that. Face off won by Dallas. Heiskanen lets it go through the screen. Nice block there by the Flames. They keep that one alive. Johnny Hockey now holding off the backhand, trying to make something happen. He's just going to buy some more time as he's working off that active forecheck, and instead he'll take a line change. Heiskanen, nice clean entry, slap shot, blast off the kick plate around the boards, picked up by Michael Raffel, kept inside the blue line here for Dallas, played it from Sagan, gonna let this one go, and it goes up and out of play. 52 shots for the Calgary Flames, 23 shots for the Dallas Stars. Again, the shot board says one situation, but the other one says this. It is 2-2 on the score sheet right now, as everybody in Calgary, Alberta is trying to look on. Again, they want a taste of the Edmonton Oilers. They're trying to match that up. That would be a tremendous series for the NHL and Canadian sports markets, and Dallas is trying to really throw a big-time wrench into that one right now. Sagan might be getting kicked out of the draw here. So if you do get kicked out twice, it is an automatic minor penalty. So again, you can't jump too early. So it's better to probably lose this draw if you're going to be overzealous here because you don't want to take a minor. That is the rule. Yarncroc wins this one clean. He gets this one to Tyler Toffoli from the LA Kings, transferred over from the deadline. The Flames did their work early to try to acquire him. Daryl Sutter was also his coach in LA. Nice body work there by Dylan Dubé as it spun there around Klingberg. Kachuk got a piece of it, and Gabranson will win this hybrid icing as it goes back down the ice. This is going to be Calgary Flames in the offensive zone right now. 52 shots on the shot board and 2 goals. 23 shots on the shot board and 2 goals for the Dallas Stars. It sounds like this. Jamie Benn and Vlad Nemestikov were your goal scorers in the first and second period. 2 in the second period for Calgary as it was Tyler Toffoli and Matthew Tkachuk on the other side. Sagan wins the draw. Heiskanen plays this out in front. Heiskanen tried to get this into the players' bench, and it's going to be a neutral zone faceoff. This is an offside entry for too quick of a movement there. So you can get some line changes or whatever else you want right now as Hakanpää is out there with the third line defense there for Dallas. Johnny Gaudreau is skating out there right now before he goes into the players' bench. So Daryl Sutter wants to elect to keep his line fresh and not going to take that first line out against Joe Pavelski. Joe Pavelski and Jason Robertson, who's been largely part of that first line, is going to be opposed by Michael Backlund. And Backlund wins the draw. Rasmus Anderson hits this one off the kick plate, picked up by Blake Coleman. This is stuck in toward the red line. Coleman still trying to find this thing. It's picked up by Pavelski. Tried to leave it for Robertson, and he lost it. And now this goes back to Heiskanen. Across that blue line. Vlad Nemestikov off the kick plate now to Hanifin. Hanifin spinning this one around. He's trying to look toward a left wing zone entry. He passes this one down the ice, intercepted by Dallas. Coleman trying to chip and keep this one in. Calgary did momentarily, and now Dallas and Robertson. Vlad Nemestikov now on that first line. Holding off the backhand, stopped there by Markstrom. Picked back up by Pavelski. Around for Vlad Nemestikov. Pavelski one more time toward the left face-off down. Places it into the slot, stopped by Markstrom once, and the rebound goes all the way down the ice. Markstrom was down and out. If there was any rebound there, Dallas would have finished this one off. Heiskanen enters. Slap shot stopped there by Markstrom. Dallas couple primo scoring opportunities. Ben gets his shot blocked there by Michael Stone as this goes around the right face-off dot. Hemmed in there by Suter. Ben knocks down his man. Down the other side, Heiskanen lets it go through the screen, stopped by Markstrom. Dallas looking dangerous right now. Trevor Lewis tied to Landriana. Now playing this around to Gabranson. Gabranson lost it to Heiskanen. Heiskanen now right face-off dot. And here comes Calgary. And Suter can get this one back down through the neutral zone. Intercepted there by Calgary and Trevor Lewis. And now Dallas one more time can reset this thing. Suter plays this one. Hanifin to Shillington as it got bounced across the flaming sea. Johnny Gaudreau is waiting in toward the slot. Raffel leaves this one back for Sagan. Sagan plays it into the blue paint. Where's the puck? Sagan could be open if they get that pass across. Look for a tip. And it got up out of the air. Somebody's down for Dallas, and I don't even know how Jacob Markstrom saw that one, to be honest with you. That was very close for Dallas to be able to end this game 7 about 4 different times. Big pad save there by Markstrom. It was bounced through the blue paint one more time. Slap shot went wide. Brett Ritchie tried to play that one. Delandria had a piece of it that just sailed across the left post in the blue paint. So it's still 16-18 left to go in the OT. Heiskanen getting some work now as he's looking in toward the players' bench. Jacob Markstrom got that stone face right now, but you got to be wondering if he's feeling the nerves. Vlad Nemestikov takes the draw. He wins it there for Dallas. Noah Hannafin tries to hit this one up the kick plate to Tyler Toffoli. He tried to chip it out, but Nemestikov pinched him in. Robertson. It bounced off the referee, picked up by Dallas. Nemestikov shot it wide, and now Hannafin tries to get this one down. Toffoli has it hemmed in there. Markstrom coming out of the goal crease. Try to get picked up there by Toffoli. Lindell. Dylan Dubé. Dubé with a little bit of a hold, but he didn't hold it long enough for the referee to call that one. Down the ice, and Dallas has iced this thing. 15:43 left to go in the overtime. 52-25 on the shot board right now between Calgary and Dallas. It is still a 2-2 tie. The tensions are as high as they could ever be right now, and I appreciate anyone that's listening with me in this contest. This has been crazy. Heiskanen and Lindell are leading the ice time. Heiskanen 28 minutes on defense, and again, with 6 defenders, your defensemen always lead the on-ice time, but 28 minutes is a hell of a lot of time right now for Miro Heiskanen, but he is one of the best puck movers Dallas has, and they trust him to be able to generate offense and still be able to be good enough to play defense when they need it. Again, he's just about 23 years of age himself, and Miro Heiskanen is one of those guys that they expect to be able to move some things around when they need to be able to play offense. And when the other forwards need to pinch, Rick Bowness and the rest of them expect to be able to hold that blue line. So Majapani, Coleman, getting some looks right now on the ESPN feed. Backlund taking the draw. He wins it clean. Michael Stone now gets this one across the red line as he chips it in with a feather. This goes to Jake Ottinger. Heiskanen almost misplayed this one. Michael Backlund trying to find this one now. As this goes to Jacob Peterson. Nice outlet pass. Tyler Seguin plays this one to Ty Delandria. Seguin and Delandria lost it. But now it goes back into Peterson. Peterson toward the left faceoff dot gets held off. Picked up one more time. Coleman plays this one to Hannafin. Shillington now. He's trying to look for Stone. Calgary, they're going to get a power play call. Tyler Seguin doesn't like it. He's slamming his stick on the ice. Calgary, big time chance here with the power play. Rick Bowness, can't believe it. Let me give you the official call. I know that Tyler Seguin is going to the box. That's for sure. I think this might be high sticking. Shillington, he got it up in there deep. He got it right on the hand of Shillington. There was nothing he could do. Tyler Seguin, definitely. 2 minutes for high sticking there on Shillington. And this is an opportunity right now for Calgary to really blow off these barn doors here at the Saddle Dome. You got to be able to finish this one. There's no doubt about it. You never know when you're going to get another chance. And I've said this many times, not only win the draw, but overtime, the power plays don't really happen too much. Gaudreau into the traffic, stopped by Ottinger a couple times. Gaudreau finds it, and it's not in, they say. Gaudreau can't believe it. Ottinger found it. I need to look at this one more time. Otherwise, I probably would have screamed a lot more if I knew exactly what was happening. So Gaudreau had this one into the right faceoff dot. It was stopped the first time by Ottinger. Gaudreau, man, what a flash of a glove save there by Ottinger. That's exactly what I thought of the second time. Through the screen, flash of a glove save. Ottinger, 10 bells for that one. One more time, the faceoff is won. Gaudreau now toward the blue line. Plays this one to Backlund across that right faceoff dot. In the slot now, Gaudreau, one-timer, fought through the traffic by Ottinger and saved. Pavelski trying to get this one out for Dallas. Desperate right now. Tkachuk can't get to it. Lindell bangs this one off the kick plate, and this goes down the ice where Markstrom will play. This time he's not going to pass it all the way. He's just going to leave it. 1:20 left to go on the Calgary power play. They're going to take their time as the Go Flames Go chant is echoing and deafening right now at the Scotiabank Center. Slap shot, fall to the screen, Ottinger down and saves it. Hakanpää and Suter right on the doorstep to make sure that did not cross the red line. And Ottinger with one more big-time save as the Calgary power play is still just about a minute extended. Toffoli with the blast through the screen of Lindholm. Suter and Hakanpää were there on the doorstep to help just in case it was crossing the goal line. Ottinger, my goodness, standing on his head per usual throughout this entire series. One goalie cannot play better than this man has throughout all 8 series. 54 saves is a career high in his second game with 50 plus in the series. Jamie Benn now on the draw with Michael Backlund, and we'll see who's going to get kicked out. This is Backlund, so the captain is still in there with Dylan Dubé. Dubé is going to be at a disadvantage. We'll see if he wins this draw. He gets smoked on the right side. Kachuk also gets hit as well with Dubé. Majapani, nice keep in there by Rasmus as it's in toward the right side. Shillington trying to get this loose now. Here comes Dallas. Jamie Benn. This is Klingberg joining. Cross pass, and it gets deflected there by the Calgary Flames just in time. Klingberg would have had a one-on-one with Markstrom. Michael Stone plays this one off the kick plate. Picked up one more time by Calgary as it gets hemmed down the ice. This goes to Markstrom. Now Rasmus Anderson crossing that blue line in the flaming sea. Gets it across. He wants to get this to Gaudreau. Plays this in behind the net now with Dylan Dubé. Andrew Majapani gets in there with the back one. Calgary will be the first to get to this with Michael Stone, but he's going to take a hit for it. Eston Lindell also behind it as well. Majapani trying to emerge with it. Majapani now into the right faceoff dot. He needs some help. This goes back to the blue line of Stone. Stone gets it deflected into the traffic, and Stone gets back to it first. Again, he's not the one that's even fully dressed. It's a chance, and it goes just wide. Markstrom didn't have to save that one, but I'm sure his life was flashing before his eyes. Dallas kills off the penalty. Calgary had times where they looked dangerous, but Ottinger answered the call. Offsides there. Calgary has to go back. 14 goals on both sides, 2 for 24 on the power play for both teams. Only 28 goals in this series in its entirety through Game 7. These goalies have been excellent. A lot of those have been empty netters. Heiskanen drives the net. It goes wide. Kachuk trying to find this puck now. Matthew Kachuk plays it across. His dad was an excellent player. His son is just as good. Matthew Kachuk all the way across, finds it now. He's got one. He goes for the short side snipe and missed it. Majapani gets this one down, trying to be held by Gaudreau. As he plays around the office, tried to leave it there for Yarncroft, blocked off by Dallas defense, picked up there by Shillington. Shot goes wide. Calgary now trying to do some work as Yarncroft's trying to get in there, and it's picked back across that red line. Miscommunication there. They thought someone wasn't going to take a line change. 3-on-2. Dallas! Cross pass goes above the net. That would have been over. That was a horrible miscommunication there by Calgary. They didn't think one of their players was taking a change. And the shot gets deflected up and out of the air. My goodness. I would have felt so bad on one side to see you didn't even know your teammate was taking a line change. Your defensive partner expected them to be there. That all of a sudden turned into a 3-on-2 for Dallas, and they almost ended the game. And on the other side, Matthew Tkachuk was aiming for that left side, short side, and he just missed that post. And if that cross pass would have connected for Sagan, that could have been all over there for Dallas. They came that close. 11:38 left to go in the overtime. 2-2. Still your score. Dallas, as we've gone along in this third period, in this overtime, I can definitely tell you this. They've had the better of the chances here, with the exception of a couple of offensive draw face-off wins on Calgary's power play. And again, both teams were, 2 of 21, it said, on the power play in the series. 4 overtime shots aside for both teams, and this goes back down the red line. Calgary wants to settle this down. Picked up by Majapani. Hannafin now gets this one for Rasmus Anderson as they've shipped sides on the defense. Rasmus Anderson gets this in deep. Ottinger plays it, but there was no flame in sight. That could have been a big rebound there. Picked up by Dallas. Peterson lets it go. It gets blocked. Coleman bounces up in the air and up and out of play. So one of the fans are going to have a souvenir with 11:09 left to go in the overtime. So the way the overtime works, just in case anybody is wondering, there is no stoppages of play with the less of the half the period left to go ice scrape. If you want to get your refreshments and everything else, your food and your refreshments, you want to do so before the period actually starts, just in case you miss anything. But if you pop in and out, it doesn't matter to me. I just want to make sure that everyone else knows this on this side. This is a critical game 7 right now. I'm going to be here with you until this game is done, and then we're going to have the complete play-by-play and game coverage. Ty Delandria going to get set for a big-time draw. Jurgen Krok wins this one here for the Calgary Flames, and Zadorov will bounce this one off the glass. This one goes back to Miro Heiskanen. Heiskanen tries to get this one down. This goes back there to Sagan. Markstrom gets a piece of it. It's in behind the goal cage of Markstrom right now as Calgary is trying to find a way to break out and get some changes and stay fresh. We're getting close to the halfway through the overtime. You know, these bodies, especially after one overtime, are going to start to get tired. So you got to be able to keep those line shifts short as much as you can. As this puck bounces off of the referee, break there for the Calgary Flames. Toffoli finds the entry. He's just going to rattle this around the kick plate. And this is Ottinger now. Suter holds. He's going to survey a little bit. He's going to get this one to Marion Studenich, and Studenich will get this down. Markstrom comes out of the goal crease to play this one. And it's 3 Calgary Flames all in support. Nice outlet pass. Kachuk is going to flutter this one in. And Ottinger will go out there and take it as we're officially halfway through the overtime now. Rasmus Anderson being hounded there by Sagan. Nice hold off. He's got to use the body. Noah Hannafin. That was beautiful support there. You got to be able to make sure to help your teammates out as much as you can. Elias Lindholm rockets this one off the kick plate. Here comes Kachuk and off the forecheck. Gaudreau lost it there. Good stick check there by Sagan. Again, and Lindell. This is diagonally down the plate. Hannafin now to Gabranson. Gabranson having a spin and hold as the defensive pairings get mixed matched a little bit here with Daryl Sutter. Almost lost it in behind his own net, but found it there. Picked back up by Calgary. This is Ritchie. Ritchie now with Lewis on the fourth line side. They've got some ice time. They're fresh right now. Gabranson tries to play this one around the net. They're going to have to be active here with Lucic. He's got to throw that body and get to this puck. Calgary needs to be able to keep this in. They cannot. And this goes back down where it goes to Michael Stone. Michael Stone, again, the referee's been in the way a lot of this on the back end side. It gets picked back up by Lucic. Wrist shot. He looks for the 5-hole side. It got glove saved by Ottinger. Picked back up by Lucic. They can't get him off the puck. It's on the blue line side toward the left faceoff dot. Shot goes up and onto the glass. This is a foot race won by the Calgary Flames and Rasmus Anderson. Shillington will get this one down across the blue line. Blake Coleman can't get there in time. Jamie Benn almost falls. Picked up there and dumped down. Ottinger will come out of his goal crease to play this once more. 58-27 are the shots on goal. But Calgary is still within a 2-2 game. Ottinger has made 56 saves. He's been brilliant. And we get an icing. And now we're probably getting that ice scrapage and stoppage where it's going to be a couple of minutes. And I will join you back in on the call.
Good chance here for the Flames. Lucci's puck retrieval. And then the feed that eventually leads to this chance for Coleman. And that one goes off the crossbar. Coleman can't believe it. But a good job by Lucci to create that opportunity. And Luke, there have been chances for both teams in overtime. Yeah, there certainly has been. Gaudreau on the power play. Rifles it to the upper part of the net. But Ottinger with the answer. Toffoli with a quality chance through some traffic. Ottinger makes the save. A near miss for Tyler Sagan off the feed by Kitterata.
As we get a chance to catch our breath, everybody, here with the ice scrapage and the stoppage here. It's Jake Ottinger tied for second most saves all time in a Game 7 with 56. Dallas has needed all of those right now. It's still 2-2 on the shot clock right now. 56-27 on the shot board as we're 8:25 left to go in the overtime of this critical Game 7. This is the final one of the first round of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. This is the Western Conference quarterfinal between the Dallas Stars and the Calgary Flames. Winner takes on the Edmonton Oilers. Is it going to be the Battle of Alberta, or will Dallas join Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl? We're going to remain to be seen whether or not the NHL, when they will schedule all these games, whether or not everyone's going to get an extra day off. I think that they will need some. Even your broadcaster is going to need one after doing 2 games today here. So, but this has been very, very fun. I'm glad this nightcap contest has been every bit as good as I hoped it would be. So we're going to officially get back into the action now as the Red Barn Calgary crowd is officially frozen looking on and whether or not see if their team in red can get one past Jake Ottinger here and make it a 3-2 final. That's going to be your final score no matter what. The question is how many overtimes he's going to take. Elias Lindholm, he wins the draw, supported there by Johnny Gaudreau. He tried to shoot that one into the blue paint. Gaudreau lost it. Michael Raffel gets this one down, and this could be an icing. And this is Nikita Zadorov will touch up on the hybrid icing. So Dallas cannot change. So it's still the same line right now with Ben, Raffel, and Sagan from what I see right now in their second line. Again, because of some of the injuries, it was Vladimir Mestikov on the first line and Denis Gurianov on the third line. So this is Lindholm and Ben on the draw. Calgary has had a 40-35 advantage on the faceoff dot. Gaudreau has this on the right faceoff side. Johnny Hockey plays this one. He's going to shoot it with Zadorov with a screen in front, picked up by Gabranson. This is Gaudreau now, holding off the backhand. He lost it there. Klingberg got a piece. Gurianov, he's got some jets, and he should have a fresh body here. Hasn't played a lot of minutes. Pass and momentarily gets off of one of the Calgary Flames off the backside, but there was some pickup there. On ice scoring chances was 13 for Gaudreau, Lindholm, Tkachuk, and just 4 against. So that first line's been dominating, but again, Jake Ottinger has been brilliant. Picked back up by Toffoli. He got spun around. 3-on-2. Stars. Sagan tries to leave this one back there for Studenic. He got upended. And now Toffoli. He's not fleet of foot, so he's going to have to dump this one down. Ottinger doesn't know where it is. It's behind the goal crease right now. Calgary has to place it out front of misses the net as Yarncroft. A golden opportunity for Calgary. They can't make it happen. And Toffoli just lost it off the right side of the post. My goodness, their Calgary might be shooting themselves in the foot if they don't finish that one there. If they can't win this game. Shillington, Gabranson now. Lost by Sagan. Picked up Pavelski. Here comes Robertson in the left wing side, holding off the backhand and stolen there by the Flames. Yarncroft now across that red line. Pavelski. This is Vladimir Mestikov, former Red Wing, picked up at the deadline for a 4th-round pick from a couple of years. He's already got a goal. He's got 3 Game 7 goals, 2 with the Lightning and now 1 with the Stars. Shot board is 58-27 for Calgary. Intercepted toward the slot pass. Michael Stone has it now. Stone trying to chip and chase there with Brett Ritchie. Ritchie can get to there first. Nice work holding off on the body. Ritchie still trying to do some work as it's bounced off the kick plate, high off the inboards. Kept inside the lefty side of it. It's going in toward the left face-off dot. They're skating and power move. Stop by Ottinger down. Calgary has it. It goes in through the blue paint. It's still with Calgary. And now Dallas finds this before Ottinger can't get to it. He doesn't have a goal stick. He made a bad save. And he's down again. Another stop by Ottinger. And my goodness, he made 3 saves without a goal stick. 60 saves. 58 saves, I should say, for Ottinger. Oh, man, I can't believe it. Calgary, so close there. Jake Ottinger has been a stone wall, and he's no stick. Made 3 straight saves. Dallas was on the verge there. Yarncroft with a chance. It was nice work there for Ritchie. It was also Stone, Hannafin, off the stick. If it didn't bounce off the goal stick there, he might have had an open net. Calgary came so close there with Hannafin and Lewis, and they just couldn't solve Jake Ottinger. That was the most dangerous and scary chances as Ottinger has just made his 58th save. Calgary's got 60 shots on goal. Picked up now and saved expertly. Gabranson holding. Right faceoff dot gets his shot blocked. Gabranson now tries to find it there with Michael Backlund. Nice spinning. And again, the Zebras can't get out of the way. Mangiapane tries to get this one off the kick play. Gabranson, nice body to keep that one in. Hemmed in the Dallas defensive zone. And now here they come one more time. Suter, cross. It is saved by Markstrom and cleared out of the blue paint. Is it going to be out is the question. It is. This was Backlund with wonderful hustle there. Nice 200-foot gain as he went all the way back to clear that one down. Coleman bounced off Ottinger. That's going to count as a save. And this is not held across the blue line. Down to 5 minutes left to go in the first overtime. Miro Heiskanen now. Heiskanen tries to find Lindholm. Lindholm now In the blue paint, this goes to Gaudreau. Gaudreau leaves it for Lindholm off the mask of Ottinger. He scores! He scores! Johnny Gaudreau! Johnny Gaudreau has ended the game in overtime. He's ended the game in overtime for Calgary. They're going to play the Edmonton Oilers. I'm sorry for the voice crack there. The apologies. Unbelievable there. It is over. It is over. The Calgary Flames have won. Johnny Gaudreau, 3-2. Calgary wins it in Game 7. Jake Oettinger made 61 saves. He was absolutely spectacular. And it's going to end in heartbreak and misery here for the Dallas Stars. And if it wasn't for their netminder, in all honesty, this would have been much, much worse. But what an unbelievable game that we've had between two wonderful, wonderful hockey teams. One was not even supposed to be here. And Calgary, they threw everything they had at Jake Oettinger. And finally, the 61st shot, or the 63rd shot, I should say, goes in the net for a 3-2 victory. It is going to be Calgary taking on Edmonton in the Battle of Alberta. And boy, when I get a chance to talk to my buddy and partner in crime, Cooper Hopkins, on Instagram, we're going to have to join this one in the second round, as I'm going to have so much intrigue to say. I'm sure you can laugh at my voice crack call as far as that goal scoring. And one of the best, I want to stay here with this right now, one of the best things in all of sports is the handshake line. After 7 games of just brutally beating up on your opponent, the Calgary Flames and the Dallas Stars meet up at center ice to shake hands. Boy, am I out of breath here. Again, apologies for the voice crack in the finish and all of that stuff. This truly was, and I don't want to say this lightly, this just truly was one of the better hockey games that I've ever seen. Yes, at times, was it one-sided? You bet. But that's what it's all about in the NHL playoffs. Anything can turn on one way. Jake Oettinger, again, I don't care what happened in this series. You are the MVP of the first round, my friend. There is no 7-game series without Jake Oettinger. What a finish we had. What a game this was. Again, I'm going to give you the full game story and play-by-play, and this should be a great one. And because the Calgary Flames have advanced, when we start the second round, I'll be able to reconnect with my partner in crime, Cooper Hopkins. He is the Calgary Flames super fan. Again, he's much better on the play-by-play call even than I am, even though he says a lot of nice things. He's going to be very, very excited. I'm going to be very excited to bring second round action to you between Calgary and Edmonton to get to watch Gaudreau and Tkachuk and Lindholm taking on McDavid, Draisaitl, and Zach Hyman. That's going to be an excellent series in the Battle of Alberta. I appreciate it, guys. It's been a long one here for me. I'm going to get the complete game story and everything else uploaded here shortly. I appreciate you guys. Have a good one, and we'll talk soon. Peace.
And then the videos that we just posted, like they retweeted it on their accounts, and I think right now it has almost like 6,700 views, 52 likes, 33 retweets, and I'm like, that's